we see. Warriors megastar Steph Curry will be a spectator for at least a week. Sources tell ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania Curry's likely allows out at least through Game 4 of the second-round playoff series against the Timberwolves due to a Grade 1 left hamstring strain. ESPN basketball analyst and former Duke center Jay Billis.
They played without Curry at different parts of the season. That's happened, and they played pretty well. And what it does is change roles. And I think it makes Buddy Hield, one, more important, but two, Buddy Hield, without Steph Curry, will have less catch-and-shoot opportunities, and that's where he excels. When he can shoot the ball with his feet set, he drills it.
Jay Billis on Joe and Q. Golden State leads that series 1-0. Maple Leafs ruled out goalie Anthony Stolarz for Game 2, second-round playoff series against the Panthers tonight, 7 Eastern ESPN. He was elbowed in the head in the Game 1 win. Joseph Wool starts tonight for Toronto. NFL George Pickens on his way to Dallas, acquired by the Cowboys for draft compensation. Dallas gets the number 2 receiver it's been searching for opposite CeeDee Lamb.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the Steelers traded away George Pickens. So what does this mean for their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers? And do we think he had to sign off on this deal? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock!
All right. So, if you guys are watching, I am not Matt Moscona. If you guys are listening, I'm also not Matt Moscona. I'm Anthony Ranaudo. I used to be a frequent guest. I'm not anymore, I guess. It's been a while, yeah. But I'm really excited because normally when I host Matt's show, when he's on a little hiatus, I usually have to do it myself. But today, I have a broadcast journalism major here, right? Is that your official title of your degree?
That's what's on the degree.
Yeah, on the piece of paper. Yeah, exactly. So that means I have no pressure today is what I'm picking up. That's it.
Like, you're saying I have all the pressure today.
I think so. That's just what I think.
Crazy.
I'm just a former athlete, so like that's it. I'm just here on an interview. It's great. No, but anybody, if you guys are on your ride home, whatever you guys are doing, wherever you're tuning into in the world, thank you guys for being here. This is After Further Review. Normally with Matt Moscona, but Anthony Ranaudo and Abigail Alonzo, Abby Alonzo.
Full name.
I went full name, full name.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Abby, thank you for joining me, and thank you for helping me hosting this.
I'm pumped. I've only ever seen clips of you hosting this show, and then whenever Matt asked us to do this, I was fired up, ready to go.
It's going to be right up your alley. This is it. You guys heard a little bit of the headlines, right? So we're going to cover some of that stuff, obviously, all the broad headlines. We're going to let Abby talk her sports. We're going to cover some LSU baseball, some Saints LSU football, NFL football overall. We're going to have an LSU sports hour because that's kind of my background. Abby went to LSU. I played baseball here at LSU for the 2009 national championship team and still ingrained here in that sports world. So we'll cover our people over at LSU, obviously. A bunch of our LSU athletes they went to the Met Gala, so that'll be fun. We can kind of cover that, a little bit of pop culture in there. And I think we're going to do some fun stuff at the end. We're going to do some calculated chaos, a little bit of parlay action, maybe some MLB picks. Because you like to sports bet a little bit,
guess
right?
what? I haven't actually done my own research, I'll be honest. I haven't done my own research in months. I've tailed Anthony's bets. Today, I did my own research.
You did your own.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, boy. So definitely not financial advice, guys. Yeah, like this this is going to be money you're going to want to make sure that you can afford to lose.
Hey, I'm pretty proud.
Kidding.
I'm pretty proud of my picks. I feel confident.
All right. Why are they confident? What do you feel confident about?
Nothing is crazy. Let me put it that way. There's no crazy parlays. The odds aren't like plus 230 anywhere. Like,
why aren't they crazy? Though? Some people want crazy.
Hey, I'm dipping back into this.
It's calculated chaos. That's what we go for. Because I like to call it calculated risk, but we like to throw a little chaos in there for the people. It's a lottery ticket, We like to have some fun with it.
Well, we're going to.
Talk to me a little bit about, I just saw this right before we popped in, George Pickens, and they were talking about it obviously on the air. George Pickens got traded to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's going to be wild. Well, I'm sure
it is a little bit wild.
That,
I'm not sure that the Steelers got the best deal for that.
What were the deal pieces? We're going to dive into it later.
Yeah, we'll dive into it, but I think it's a good opposite of CeeDee Lamb and Dallas needs all the help they can get right now.
So they needed more
really,
receivers, and they needed a second.
you need somebody to complement. Like, you can't just
Yeah.
CD in the slot is great, but it's not going to cover all the bases all the time. So George Pickens, good receiver. I mean, the long ball is great for him.
Yeah.
What I read earlier, and we'll get into this later, is like Mike Tomlin has talked about him having to grow up. He's had unsportsmanlike penalties multiple times. So I don't know if the Steelers were getting, just kind of cleaning their hands, getting rid of something they didn't want to deal with.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because as you know, I bet on numbers, and I like the NFL. I like watching it, but I'm not ingrained in it. I don't know the ins and outs, and I know headlines, right? So when I see that on the bottom line, I thought, they are rebuilding a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused. I don't know. I was just confused, and I didn't see that for the Steelers. So it's interesting that you say that he's had some conduct issues, and it might be something where they're cleaning house and they want a different culture in their
Mike Tomlin is
room.
on record saying he needs to grow up, and he needs to grow up fast.
Interesting. Well, yeah,
Okay.
they maybe he didn't grow up fast enough for them.
Yeah, they
clearly,
said,
right?
See ya, buddy.
Yeah. How about that OKC loss? That was kind of wild. Was that last night? I don't even know. Was it? I can't remember.
What day is it?
I don't even know. It's Wednesday. Yeah. But yeah, the OKC was dominating that game, and the Joker and the Nuggets came back and snuck a win. That was pretty interesting.
You know what? The Joker, though, Jokic never ceases to amaze me.
And it comes back to who's the real MVP then, right? Because I think it's kind of understood that Shy, however you want to say
SGA.
it. SGA, I like that. There we go.
We'll rock with that.
SGA is winning the MVP. If you look at, the odds in the sports books and, you hear anybody talk about it. So, but I mean, if you watch that game, he had a 40-20 triple-double, I think, right? It was something silly. It was
Numbers are stupid.
Yeah, and so, I mean, and you watch the game, he wills it to win. He knows how to do it. His basketball IQ, obviously, it's not flashy or sexy like the guy is, but he wins, and that's really sexy, So when you win championships, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, it was just game one, but interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I want to hear your now. We'll get into it in a little bit.
And then Steph, that was so interesting too. Steph's had injuries in his career, and he's learned how to bounce back. But to this point, and what I was listening to and reading earlier is this is his first time. That's a muscle strain. So this is his first career injury where he had a muscle strain versus like a ligament or an ankle sprain or break or a bone or tendon. So
I feel like those are a little bit like sneaky tough.
They're
like
harder.
like you can not saying that you can play easily on an ankle roll or something like that, but a strain, it's a hamstring, right?
Yeah, it's hamstring. Yeah.
That takes a while. Jackson Merrill was just out for how long?
Yep.
Because of a hamstring injury?
Yep. No, I mean,
That's tough.
and that's the weird thing is when it's a strain and it's the grade 1, right?
Oof.
That's the low grade, but that's where it's like, okay, you got to be careful because then when it gets into that next level is when you're really out, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And this is the time of year that you play through injuries, but with like a muscle strain, that's where it's like you don't want to do more damage in case you guys win and you can't play the rest of the playoffs. So can they get by and win a few games without him?
He's
I don't
out
know.
for a week,
Yeah,
right?
and they won the game pretty big, I think, last night. I'll have to check on the score. But when I passed out, they were up 10 or 12. I don't know what the final. Did Golden State wound up winning? Do we know the final on that one by any chance? I can look it up really quick. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the series as a storyline because, I mean, without him and Jimmy Butler, they won big?
99-88.
Yeah, so they won by 11. But, yeah, it'll be interesting because can you check, is that the box score? What were Jimmy's numbers? Because he had that weird back or pelvis injury where his hip, he fell. And, yeah, that'll be really interesting to see and see how that plays out. We're going to get into LSU baseball as well, too. That's a little bit of my forte. I was on a couple radio stations and obviously tuned into some, what you got? We looking at Jimmy's numbers?
Yeah, I'm getting the numbers up.
Okay.
Keep going.
I thought you were looking at me about LSU baseball. I was like, what you got on LSU baseball?
No. You're the
thoughts.
pro there. You're the expert.
All right. Well, you're going to ask me some questions.
I will.
Abby's going to dive in. We're going to break down this LSU baseball team. We're probably going to do a couple segments on that. I really like their pitching staff this year. I think obviously the 1-2 punch is nice, and then you got some options obviously with Case and Evans now and that kind of stuff. So bunch of good young arms for the future too. So this team is set up to win, I think, for the next couple of years. But I do want to talk about a little bit of the transfer portal too and how that does play a role into things. And I think we saw it last year with Cam and how he transferred, right? How you have to mix guys in, but when they're not necessarily ready, how do you cater to that when the transfer portal is so readily available to guys that can just jump ship and go somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, that's tough. I have
so again, yeah, stuff
an
to dive
opinion
into.
on the transfer portal as well as NIL. I think they opened Pandora's box, and we're seeing the results of that. And coaches are having to figure out things they've never had to figure out before, like bringing new guys in, transfer portal. Like they're fighting a whole different battle than they've had to do that before. And I mean, you've talked to Jay Johnson about that, and it's really a challenge for these guys. Even
my boy Nolan Kane, right, the recruiting coordinator over at Texas. I mean, Texas is a whole different beast too, because there's so many teams in state that you're competing with too. So and then that oil money, that's a little different, right? So yeah, just things that you're up against that you never had to battle against. So yeah, we should dive into that. I would actually, now that I'm thinking about it and we're chewing on it, I would love to hear your thoughts on the college football transfer portal and free agency, right? Because I think Tennessee did a great job in the way that they handled Nico, because that put a stop to it, or at least I thought, stood up a little bit to this, that we're not going to stand for this.
Yeah, you have to lay down some boundaries, right? Yeah. These kids, like, they're being compensated, right? They put in a lot of work. The schools make money off of their name, so I understand, but there has to be a line somewhere, because if not, it's a free-for-all, and you watch exactly what happened with Nico in Tennessee, and if they didn't lay down the law there, I mean, it's, again, Pandora's box. It's just, there's no limits at that point.
Yeah, no, and we have a couple of people that we're waiting on some confirmations for phone calls. This is such a tricky hour for the baseball players, right? Because there's practices, there's pregame, there's travel. So we have a couple guys that we're just waiting for some confirmations on their schedule. Games are getting ready to start. Games are wrapping up. So if we can get some of them on the phone, we're going to tune in and check in on those guys. Some guys that played here at LSU that are playing professionally. So hopefully we get some insight there and hear what they have to say. But should be a jam-packed show. I'm really looking forward to it. It obviously is one of the best times of year for me. But I think I think we're getting ready here, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. Jam-packed show. Abby, Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo. This is After Further Review.
After Further Review.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel, where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioneer Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, everybody, welcome back to After Further Review. If you're just joining us, I'm Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo, right here to my right. Woo. And it only makes sense that we kick this off with some LSU baseball talk.
Boom.
Duh.
Yes.
All right, coming off a Texas A&M series loss for the Tigers. Quick recap of the weekend. They did have a doubleheader, dropped the first game 3-1. LSU managed 8 hits and couldn't string together an offense.
I feel like you're coming in hot on the Tigers.
Hey.
Why are you coming in hot on my Tigers?
You want me to be honest, or?
I mean, maybe. You don't need to rough them up like this.
Relax. Game 2, they won, though.
There you go. See? I like some positivity in my life. Yeah.
Won 2-1 over A&M. Jared Jones, solo bomb, broke the tie.
Yeah, he's the guy.
The bullpen combined for 4 shutout innings.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I know. You were out here hating on them.
I wasn't hating. I was stating a fact.
You like this narrative that I'm just going to put out there? LSU baseball fans.
That's great. Abby Alonzo. LSU. Yeah, come on now.
She does.
Don't do that to me.
Just kidding.
I'm going to follow that by saying they lost game 3. They lost game 3, 6-4.
Don't kill the messenger, right? That's what you're about to tell me.
Look, facts. Yeah, you can't shoot the messenger. I wasn't out there playing.
Yeah.
I'm just relaying the message.
Wow.
You know?
So what are you saying about the guys that were playing?
I didn't say anything. I'm just letting you know what happened this weekend in case you weren't watching.
That's
you know?
right. Well, to be honest, I do think they're really, really good this year. So in all seriousness, yeah, I know you do. I'm just messing, but they really are good. And sometimes, that happens. And I think we forget that Texas A&M was preseason number 1. Like, let's not forget that, guys. They went to the national championship game last year. They have one of the best players in college baseball in Lavalette, right? So it happens. And sometimes at this time of the year, sometimes those are the best things for you. You need to get hit in the mouth a little bit. Texas A&M's probably getting hot. That's the way it goes, right? They're going to take their bruises and lumps. So we just caught them at the wrong time. But I think it bodes well, right, for this weekend series against Arkansas. We got Arkansas coming into the box. They just swept Texas, who is number 1 in the country, even after getting swept. So which is besides itself. I think that's kind of nutty.
Right.
I think that's kind of nutty. What are your
Baseball's
thoughts on that?
crazy.
Wait. What are your thoughts on getting swept as the number 1 team and staying number 1? I don't care if it was the number 6 team or whatever Arkansas
Look,
was.
I'm not great with numbers, but it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
I can understand losing 2 out of 3 and maybe staying 1 and you snuck a or you got a game in there, but getting swept, you should move a spot or 2.
Agreed.
Like there's no way. So I think it was because number 2 or 3 like Texas had beat already, but I'm like, it does not matter. Like it's current states right now, state of the matter. And so anyway, Arkansas swept Texas. LSU's going to have their hands full. Arkansas always plays well at the box. If you remember, they beat Skeens, one of Skeens' losses. I don't know if he got the actual L or not, but they won that game that he pitched, which was very, very rare that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they did have Hagen Smith, who was the number 4 overall pick the next year and basically competed with Skeens for those records the next year. But still, like that's going to be a really big test. And so this weekend, I kind of throw out the window. The only thing that I'm a little not concerned, but my question mark is who's our third starter? Are we staying with Evans? Are we going to have a by committee on Sunday because we have such a good number 1 and 2, combo? I don't know.
This is interesting because I remember having a similar conversation with you the majority of last season when we were talking about your day 3 starter.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different situation this year, but just.
Yeah, and it's weird because for me, again, this is me. I'm not a college baseball coach, and I don't know how much the analytics have changed behind closed doors since I've gotten away from college baseball itself. How much information they have, what they have, I don't know. But when you have such a good 1-2 punch, and then Cohen's been done so well at the back end, and so is Evans. If it ain't broke, don't fix it for me, right? Like you have 2 weapons out of the bullpen, and you've proven now that Evans can go a little longer. So why not use Evans in that hybrid Lewis Coleman role that we had in 2009, right? So if you guys aren't familiar, Lewis Coleman came back for his senior year. He was drafted as a junior, came back as a senior. He started opening night, and Maneri gave him that nod as a starter, right? And he was a starting pitcher, but then he was so valuable out of the bullpen, and his arm was like that rubber arm. So there'd be times that I would pitch Friday and pitch 6 innings, and Lewis would come in and pitch 7 and 8, or maybe that bridge inning 7 to get to Matty Ott for the 8th or 9th and our closer, right? And then bounce back and pitch Sunday. So maybe Jay's messing around with that with Evans. I don't know. Lewis was in a different situation. I was talking to Jordy Holtberg about this on his radio show. Lewis was in a different situation. He was a senior, and it was like, I'm a senior sign. I'm an older senior. I don't know how my pro ball career is going to go, right? Jay has to protect Evans a little bit. He's throwing 97, and he's a freshman. The dude's going to have a very good pro career, so he can't, necessarily let him come out the pen and pitch 2 innings on Friday and then start Sunday his freshman year, right? So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, since you're talking about the bullpen, they were pretty clutch in game 2. What, to you as a former pitcher, stands out about how they've handled high leverage situations?
Right now, Jay's calling all the right numbers, right? So it seems like one of my things that I notice or I look for in the college baseball season is right around this time, towards the latter half of the SEC play and going into the SEC tournament, right? You're really trying to figure out who your dudes are. Who are your pieces? Because now every game really matters, right? There's elimination games, there's tournament games, there's playing for seeding, all of that. So Jay has seemingly called the right numbers as far as the roles that he's putting guys in, and that's obviously a testament to Jay and knowing his players and knowing what to get out of them, right? So I think what he's got are options, and that's really fun because, you sit and watch a lot of games with me, and you've learned a lot just by, me talking about the games and betting on them and things like that. But as a reliever, when it's 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, and you're up 1 run or up 2 runs, and it's a 7th or 8th inning, you need a guy that is going to be a strikeout guy in that situation. You don't need the fly ball guy. You don't need the ground ball guy because you don't want the ball in play, actually. You try to get a strikeout there so that way you get the 2nd out, you eliminate the sac fly, you eliminate the ground ball or the error to potentially get closer to the tying run, right, or the winning run. And so you need a strikeout. And so Jay knows his players, and I think that's what you're seeing is it Maverick Rizzi coming in and throwing 99 and getting the punch out and having electric stuff, or is it a lefty coming in and getting a ground ball for the double play because the bases are loaded and there's 1 out and I'm trying to get out of a jam, right? So I think time will tell, right? But I think so far so good, to your point of why the bullpen's been, a force or been good, is Jay's been putting people in the right position, and then guys are obviously performing.
Right. Well, he knows his guys enough to know who who needs to go and win.
And he's knowing their stuff, right? That's the thing. Is this guy more of a strikeout guy, and am I going to pitch to a strikeout? Or is he more of a ground ball guy, and I need a big double play here, and so I got to call this guy in?
We'll talk about a little, like, the mentality behind that, because you and I have talked a couple times about, like, if you come in as a pitcher to a situation that is not ideal, like, what kind of mentality do you have to have? And LSU seems like across the board they've got a pretty good mindset going, or some chemistry within, you know, as much as it is physical, it's a very mental game. So talk about the mental side of that as a pitcher.
Yeah, I think that all goes back down to coaching, right? Because to me, that's a testament to Yesky and Nate and the things he's doing there and instilling in these guys, right? Because when I was pitching, we were dogs. Like, it was, we had a mindset. It was, we're gonna let you know what we think about you walking up to the plate, and we're gonna definitely let you know when we sat you down and going back to the dugout, right?
Yeah.
If you clip us, we'll tip the cap, and we might chirp at you a little bit and like be like, wait till next time, right? But that's a mentality that I think you have, and so. When you're thrown into bases loaded, 1 out, it's not, oh my God, I can't believe coach put me in this situation. It's like, cool, give me the ball, let's go, right? How do I go to work? And it's Nate getting his guys ready to embrace that role, to embrace being the strikeout guy, to embrace being, hey, you might have one guy, can you do your job? Because it is one of the most critical parts of the game, right? So again, it all goes back down to this coaching, this mindset, the way that you see the game and the way that you want your team to show up on the field, right? And that word culture is thrown around, but like the culture of the team really matters, and that's instilled, I think, from day one in the coaching staff and their personalities and that kind of stuff. So.
Well, specifically to this past weekend, like I said, the offense wasn't producing necessarily at the rate they wanted to. As a pitcher on the mound, you know, you're holding it down and your team's just having a hard time getting the ball on the ground, you know, stringing together runs. How do you maintain your composure and, like, keep doing your job knowing that, like, it's out of your control whether your team is scoring or not? Like, what is that like?
Oof. Well, that's a really good question, because as a starter, that's what we should dive into. I think we're getting ready to cut to this next break here. But why don't we do that in the next segment and we talk about that? Because as a starter, right, that's a completely different mindset. And like to your point, right, and I think the guys did a great job, Ianson and Cade, you know, striking people out, and Ianson went CG. So, yeah, that's a totally different mindset, and I would love to dive into that. So why don't we do that on the next break? All right, guys, stick around. We will dive into that on the next one. This is After Further Review.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like, when some companies say we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like, that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes two to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Baton Rouge is home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
Alrighty, welcome back to After Further Review. If you're just joining us, we're talking LSU baseball. Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo. Left off on a pretty good question. You liked the question so much that you wanted to keep talking about it.
Well, yeah. I was just being nice to you. I'm just kidding.
Knock it off. Okay, so
it's for the people.
What we were talking about essentially is if you're a pitcher, you don't have control over what your offense is doing, and you can be throwing a heck of a game, and it's really up to the guys to string runs together. So the mentality behind, staying locked in when your offense isn't producing.
Yeah, I think one of the things, and again, this all goes back down to coaching and good coaching, right? So when I got to LSU, I had a coach named Terry Rooney. He was here last year. He's actually with Paul Maneri over at South Carolina now. And I really do believe he taught me a lot about the mentality of pitching and just the mindset. And I think a lot of our success at LSU really did stem from Terry Rooney's mindset and the way that he attacked pitchers. And he was more of a crafty lefty himself, like when he played, but you could tell that he had that dog in him, where it was when he instilled that dog into the people that weren't the crafty lefties, it was really fun, right? So I think that mindset, first and foremost, was the first thing. And what we were taught about that as a starting pitcher is your job, your sole job, is to make sure that when you leave the game and you hand the ball back to the starting pitcher, the coach, whether he takes you out of the game or he shakes your hand in the dugout, your job is to make sure that your team has a chance to win. Whether that's you're down 1-0 and one swing of the bat can come back in this next inning, or we're in it 2-1, we're in it 3-1, winning or losing, right? Or you leave with the lead, obviously, is the more ideal situation. So to your point of when we're not scoring, the last thing that you're doing as a pitcher is sitting there being like, why aren't we scoring?
Right.
It's not your job to score. Like, it's not, just go do your job. Your job is to keep us in the game. So if we're not scoring runs, Your job is to keep it as close to zero as possible. That's it. It's that simple. So really that was my mindset was it doesn't matter what our offense is doing. My job actually is just to make sure that we're in the game when I leave. And the way that I do that is by attacking guys aggressively and keeping my fielders in tune, right?
Yeah.
What I wanted to do was dominate to give them energy where they were like, let's go. Anthony was like fired up that inning and they're not on their feet very long out in the field, right?
Yeah.
So how can I get 3 outs the quickest so they're fired up running in and then they're going to score for me? And then in turn, ironically enough, that's when they hit the best,
right. That's when they start to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the guys on this team. I know you're a fan of Derek Curiel. He's pretty consistent. He just keeps showing up. How rare is it to see a freshman perform this consistently in SEC play?
Yeah, it's funny. He didn't have his best series against Texas A&M, and that happens, right? But if you take that, the dude has been since game one. I don't think he started leading off. He might have been batting second or third in the first couple games. I think I went to like the second game. But to me, and the fall practice, right, what sticks out the most is his strike zone awareness, his plate discipline, and his pitch selection. As a freshman, he was highly touted, could have been a first rounder coming from California, right? This kid probably wants, right, and you would imagine an 18-year-old kid wants to prove who he is if you're that dude, right? So for him to come into LSU and have such a calm, mature approach at the plate and say, I'm going to just take what's given to me, I think is what makes Derek Curiel and makes him have that championship DNA, that elite DNA. And again, I don't want to ever compare anybody to Dylan Cruz, but that's what made Dylan Cruz so special is I think he got on base every game in his junior year, right? And that was because he was like, I know I'm the Golden Spikes player of the year pretty much, right? They're going to pitch around me. I have one of the best hitters in the country behind me in Tommy White, right? Let me do my job. And eventually they're going to make some mistakes and I'm really good at baseball and I'll hit those, And so that to me is that confident approach of like, cool, if you're not going to throw a strike, I'm going to let everybody else do the damage. I got Jared Jones, one of the best power hitters ever behind me. Like, go ahead, walk me. I'll go be on base. Oh, and then you throw a strike. Cool. I'm going to hit it in the gap and I'll be on second base. Like that to me is the most mature approach. And that's what I've seen as a freshman is plate discipline, understanding the strike zone and recognizing pitches, especially as a freshman, because as a pitcher, right, when a dude recognizes a good curveball in the dirt or I'm throwing a curveball like back door and I think he should flinch at it or he should take a certain swing at it and he doesn't, you're like, oh boy. Yeah, what do I do now? So I equate that. He reminds me a lot of Anthony Rendon, his freshman year. I say that was the best college baseball player I ever faced because that year in 2009, I had one of the best years of my life and like the ball was coming out well where I had a lot of success. And I could pretty much throw a curveball and a fastball and know like what was going to happen by my release point and like and the way he was just tracking pitches and spitting on my curveballs and fastballs and like looking out at me like, that's what you got? I was shook. I was like, I'm not throwing you anything anywhere that you can do any damage. Yeah. So it reminds me a lot of that because I remember as a pitcher being like, I'm uncomfortable right now.
So that's your comp? Your comp for
I don't know if it's the right comp because Rendon was more of a 3-hole hitter where when he came out of the draft, he hit 20 homers and he was gap to gap. Yeah. I'm not saying he can't turn into that, but right now he doesn't have the same power that Rendon had and the exit velo maybe, I don't know. Exit velo is different now. But I think Rendon had a little bit more launch and a little bit more power potential at this point as a true freshman. But again, this kid could put on 15, 20 pounds and he's a 6-foot dude that all of a sudden hits 20 homers next year, right? He has that ability because he stays on the ball so well. He's going to hit, if he fills into his body, he'll hit 10, 15 opposite field home runs a year in the big leagues. Like he's that kind of hitter. So.
Well, you mentioned Jared Jones and he's a team leader. I got a chance. I hosted an event for LSU baseball. It was the women's event, the Girl Powerhouse. Incredible event, by the way. Shout out to LSU baseball for hosting that, for Maureen Johnson. Like that was an awesome event.
What was that? Why don't you talk about it real quick?
So it was their first year doing it, and it was basically to let women, like female fans and moms and girlfriends and just women across Baton Rouge, and I mean, people flew in from like out of state.
It was the baseball version of the Bayou Bengals. What's the female one?
No, they did the football one.
Yeah, the football one. What do they call it? There's something
it's something. Yeah. But basically, so they bought a ticket.
Bayou Bengals. It's like a female name or something. I forget. Yeah.
they did one for football. They decided to do one for baseball, and it basically, you had like 6 stations, and the players were like your coaches, and you were throwing and hitting off the tee and like in the film room and all kinds of stuff.
Did you guys do sliding?
No, we did not slide. You had an option to run the bases. I did not. I was in J's. There was no shot that was happening, but a lot of people did. Also, they had Superior Girl margaritas. That was the best thing they could have done, I think.
Yeah.
I
don't know if a lot of
that.
the ladies were hitting too much. Their eyes were a little,
They definitely had a great time. Lots of Ubers were called, but
hopefully.
Yeah, they were. But it was an incredible event, and then it finished off with a couple of the players I hosted interviews with them on stage for all the women to like get to know the players before the season. Awesome event, but Jared Jones was one of the guys that I got to talk to, and his demeanor, like I feel like he's really stepped into a leadership position. You know, he's played with a lot of the greats here and has been through the ups and downs, and like he's just got a lot of experience under his belt, as you would at that age, but like he's producing. And then even the other day when he was mouthing off, and like you gotta love that. There's a little bit of feistiness, but he does it in a collected way where it's not too much. And just talk to me about his role in the team, both physically and then kind of as that leader.
If he doesn't go top 20 this year in the draft, I think it's a mistake. And I think that, you know, it's not consensus yet because of his swing and miss potential, right? But if you look at the trends of the game, Jared Jones is a major leaguer in today's world. Like, he could probably play Major League Baseball right now. Yes, he's going to swing and miss, and he would hit 200 in the big leagues, but he would run into 30 home runs, easy, 35 homers, and somebody's going to find him a spot on the team to hit 35 and have 100 runs batted in because of his raw power. But I will say that the reason I think he's a top 20 pick is because of the way that he has made improvements along his 3 years at LSU, right? We saw a freshman come in and be in the starting lineup right away and hit 12 homers in the first, before SEC play, basically. And then he didn't play in the SEC because they started throwing this thing called the curveball or off-speed pitches, and he struggled with it, right? Like, he's a freshman. He'd never seen that. He was a football player from Georgia, or I forget where I think he's from Georgia. And you never seen stuff like that, right? So, of course, it was 2023. You had Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan and some of the best players in the world and the best LSU baseball team probably ever, right? Maybe minus 09, 1A, 1B.
All right.
They were 1A. They were 1A. We'll give them 1A. We'll give them 1A.
Okay.
But he learned, but he didn't have that much pressure to have to do it that year, right? He comes back next year, and he's the dude. He is that guy, and he's a draft-eligible sophomore. He could have went in the first round. I think he wound up going in the second round. I can't remember, or wherever he went. But he decided he wanted to come back for his junior year. He made improvements last year in his batting average and his contact rate, right? This year he comes back, he's a different player. The way he's reading pitches, the way he is being disciplined, the way he's taking walks. I got to go look at the exact numbers, but as of like a couple weeks ago, I was on Jordy's show and we were talking about it, and he was very close to even of strikeouts and walks. And for a power hitter, that is such, and for him, such a testament to his growth. So for me, aside from the leadership, because he is a great leader, you can tell the dude is a great guy. He was on the Mic'd Up show the other day. I watched the whole interview. He was awesome. And he talks about being a high school kid and how he gets riled up and fired up. And that Tennessee thing, I think, is the perfect example. He's a 6'5" kid, and this kid that's 5'5" is coming up and talking crap to him, right? Like, hey, buddy, know your role.
Stay in your lane, bro.
And Jared just smiled at him and said, come on, buddy. You're better than that, right? Like, I think that is the perfect leadership. He didn't bully him. He didn't stand over him. He just smirked at him, and he laughed, and he walked away because he's confident. He knows who he is, and he knew who the team was. And then sure enough, right, walk-off homer, or maybe he hit the walk-off homer the night before. I don't know, but the dude is a leader. The dude is a G. He's one of the best baseball players that's ever come out of LSU baseball history. Like, I really do believe that power-wise. I think he's already up there in homers and stuff. So I really hope he finishes his career really strong, and I hope he goes where he deserves in the draft. I really do.
You brought up a point of improvement, right? Another player that we talked about a lot last year was Cade Anderson. And they were trying to find his role, what worked for him, and it looked like from the outside it made sense for him to be the Sunday guy, and he wasn't at that point. And now this year he's stepping into, that transition or that growth that you make over a year. Talk about that from a pitcher's perspective.
I love that. And you know how loud I was last year about Cade Anderson and how I thought he deserved to be the Sunday guy. But again, there's so many things that go on behind closed doors that we don't know about, right, in the media, and then as casual fans and even as former players. I don't care who you are, what you think you know. There's so many things that go on behind closed doors, the intricacies of a team and a player and a coach, right? But this kid is from Louisiana. He's been one of the best pitchers in the state for years, right? So if you think about the mental side of it for him, right, coming in and having that, there's probably pressure that he puts on himself, but then also the media and people have expectations, right? So as a freshman, there's a lot of adjustments that he goes into. And so, yes, he might have deserved it, but maybe there was things that we didn't know about behind the scenes that Jay and Nate were working on, right? And just saying, we know who he's going to be in the future. Let us do our thing. Maneri did that with me my freshman year. I had a little bit of an injury, and he didn't rush me back. He was like, this guy's going to be a formidable part of the team going forward, and hopefully our Friday guy next year, right? Maybe Jay had that in his mind. He didn't want to push him into a Sunday role and get beat around and ruin his confidence or anything, right? So the improvement that we see is, I think, maturation. The stuff was always there. Like, we knew it last year. Struck out 13 guys. Like, the capabilities were there. It was like, what else is missing, and what could we, and maybe it was just maturation. And that's what I think we're seeing in 2025 is a dude that's ready to lead, a dude that's had multiple double-digit strikeout games, which means he's got swing and miss stuff, which goes back to the point when it's the 6th inning and it's 2 outs and you have 2nd and 3rd and you need this punch out and you don't want to go to your bullpen yet, right? That's who you want on the mound. So
right. And that goes back to what you were saying about Jay Johnson knowing his players and knowing when to put them into a position and when not to. And like last season versus this season, Jay's, he knows Cade, he knows when to put him into that role. And I think that's another part of this story. I think we have to we can talk about this in the next segment. I was going to say we could wrap up a little bit of LSU baseball when we come back.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. We can preview some NFL football. But let's wrap up this last hour doing that. Make sure you guys stay tuned. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild? You can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac? You can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
Welcome back. Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo, holding it down for Matt Moscona. We're going to round out with the last little bit of LSU baseball talk.
We sure are.
I got one more for you.
All right,
We're getting to the end of the season, right? Things are starting to matter a little bit more than they have been the whole season. What are you looking for keys from LSU to really sharpen going into, hopefully, the postseason?
Yeah, one of my favorite developments is Michael Braswell again. So if you remember last year, he really came on right around the SEC tournament, right? And so I think as a leader in his senior, his last year, we were a little unsure at third base. So I think him solidifying that third base spot, and if he can be that spark in the lineup, because we always talk about this, right? And if you look back on all the championship teams, the way that it goes, there's always somebody that was unexpected that comes up and rises up. You have to. That's the DNA of a championship team. And so for us, it was Chad Jones becoming the lefty specialist right out of the bullpen, and then and just our offense was really consistent the whole year. But the switch from DJ going from short to second base and then inserting Nola into the lineup, right? Those were those shifts that needed to change. So I think Braswell going to third base and solidifying the lineup and being that, the bottom of the order has been really solid for this team this year. We're not going to be boppers. We're not going to be crazy 3-run homers and slug, right? That's the reality of it. But we can pitch it. So that's my big thing. I think there needs to be consistency in the offense, and the offense just needs to make sure it can do its thing and provide enough run support. But I think the pitching has to be. The starting pitching has been solid all year, and that needs to continue. But I think there needs to be another piece or two in the middle of the game that is either a long reliever or somebody that can do a little bit of both, like that we talked about. That, you saw it in the year that they won the championship, right? It was who was the lefty? I'm blanking. Atkinson,
Nate Ackenhausen.
Right? Ackenhausen, that dude was a stud at the end of the year. And there was another lefty too but you know what I'm saying? There was always those people that came in and they needed to be that guy. And you're like, dude, that was such a legendary performance. And without that performance, you don't get Ty Floyd doing 18 strikeouts on this game because he's a day short, right? So I think those are the things I'm looking for. Is it Jaden Newt in the middle of the bullpen, who was the #1 recruit out of California 3 years ago, and he had Tommy John, and he's quietly putting together some good numbers, and maybe he has that explosion at the end? Is it Maverick Rizzi being the setup guy and maybe becoming the closer? Or is it Chase Shores becoming, graduating from not necessarily having a great, starting position this year into being the dude out of the bullpen and just throwing 100 and being the 6'8" closer that we need? I don't know. We don't know. But I think those are the developments that I'm looking for.
Why do you think that happens towards the end of the season, where you see guys like that kind of step out and show up? Not that they haven't shown up, but really have a big piece towards the end of the season of the success that the team sees.
I think it's your best competitors. I think the true winners show up. I think when it matters the most, you're going to get the best performance out of dudes, right? So if all of a sudden Jaden Newt has been pitching the seventh inning, and he's been solid, and Jay's like, hey, dude, I'm giving you the 8th right now. And he's like, and it's the second to last game in the SEC, and we need this win. And all of a sudden he's throwing 99, and Jay's like, he's been 96 all year. And now we put him in the 8th inning, and he's 99, and he's got a curveball, and he struck out 3 dudes in a row. And do it again. Try it again. And you did it again. And then we're like, whoa, we found something, right? Yeah. And you never know until you put people in those positions to succeed or have that adrenaline or have that success. So I think that really matters and really does a lot for that situation.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so stay tuned, guys. At the top of the hour, we are going to roll into LSU sports. We are going to roll into some Saints talk. I think Abby's going to get going, talking about Derek Carr. But we have good stuff. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you stay around. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
Brought to you by Evermore, all natural, great tasting water. When you uncap a bottle of Evermore, that's the first time the product touches air. It's incredible. It's a natural well. It's natural artesian water. It's a well. It's on the North Shore. I went to their bottling facility. When you pull up on the left, you'll see the well is right there. They've drilled deep into the earth. They pipe it out right into their filters and their filtration system. Nothing is added. Nothing is extracted. It is completely pure from the earth water. So if you want a healthier option, if you want a healthier lifestyle, something healthier for your children, maybe you're an athlete that wants a superior form of hydration, Evermore, EVAMOR. If you notice, go to their website, you'll see Dak Prescott is one of their chief spokespeople. I mean, starting NFL quarterback is vouching for it. Check it out at great local retailers or order on their website at EVAMOR.com, Evermore.com, Evermore.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors expect to be without star Steph Curry at least a week due to a grade 1 left hamstring strain, reports ESPN's Shams Charania. He's likely out through at least Game 4 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Timberwolves. Golden State doesn't need Curry, though, to beat Minnesota, believes ESPN NBA analyst and former NBA guard Jay Williams.
I know the gravity that he warrants when he's on the court. But one of the things people keep looking over is the fact that this was the best defensive team in the NBA once they made the Jimmy Butler trade. The perimeter pressure that the Warriors apply throws the Wolves off their rhythm. And that's something that Anthony Edwards and company is going to have to answer for.
OKC down 1-0 hosts Denver Game 2 tonight, 9 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Maple Leafs goaltender Anthony Stolarz, who took an elbow to the head in the second-round playoff series opening win versus the Panthers, out of Game 2 tonight, 7 Eastern, ESPN. Joseph Woll will start in his place. NFL Cowboys' quest for a number 2 receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb has ended. They acquired George Pickens from the Steelers for draft compensation.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the Steelers traded away George Pickens. So what does this mean for their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers? And do we think he had to sign off on this deal? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another hour.
I was jamming.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
my headphones are a little... I can't hear myself, so that's all right. Just making sure. Just let me know if you guys can't hear me. But yeah, welcome back. This is exciting. Hour number 2. I'm Anthony Ranaudo, filling in for Matt Moscona alongside Abby Alonzo. Thank you guys for being here. I don't know what you guys are doing. If you're riding home, if you're just tuning in, you're at work. There we go. Now I'm back in my mic. Yeah, but thank you guys for being here. Appreciate y'all. We're going to talk a little LSU sports, right? Some Saints football, some NFL football maybe. I think we're going to have Joe Schwartz from LSU women's basketball call in and chat it up a little bit about the team and what's going on in the summer for, is it summer for them? Yeah, it's almost summer, right? Summer. Yeah, so I'm excited about this hour.
I know. We got a lot to cover.
Yeah. And then the last hour, we get to talk a little bit about baseball, MLB headlines. We're going to catch up on our LSU baseball players that are in the major leagues. We're going to throw some sports picks in tonight and have some fun, even though I just looked at the slate.
Some of them are live?
Yeah, so yeah, most of not most, but half the games are live today. Today's Tuesday, Wednesday? Wednesday's a getaway day in baseball, yeah, so they're all hitting the road tonight. So didn't realize that, but there's still some games tonight that we can throw some picks in.
I was going to say, I think my picks are, I'm concerned.
Half the games are tonight. Were
Okay,
you going in on
okay.
Judge? Judge's game is tonight.
I'm going in on
Judge. Yeah,
Judge.
that'll be fine.
Phillies?
Phillies?
Okay,
well,
we're good.
Yes, I think they're 5:45, so we might have to.
Yeah.
Our time. Yeah. So what do we got? So you just actually, I do want to give you a little love. You did some color commentating this weekend.
I did.
That was really cool. So talk to me about that. You're obviously a softball player. Your background, right? You played softball in high school, volleyball, athlete. But you've been a sports reporter by nature. That's been your thing. You've been doing this since you were 15, 16 years old, right? So,
wow.
right?
Yeah. I mean, Yeah.
Goes back to the days of being in the booths with the
16 years
Saints,
old,
right?
yeah.
In the press box.
Yeah, I've been kind of all over the place. Like whenever somebody asks me, "Hey, what have you done?" I'm like, "Oh my God, sit down, strap in, let's go." I've been around the Saints, or was around the Saints starting when I was 16 in the press box, running stats, and basically bottom of the totem pole, but learned so much around that organization for a long time, and then switched to LSU. Went to LSU, covered the teams with LSU Tiger TV, and then even Valley Vision interviews and kind of all over the place. But specifically with softball, I got a call last week. Hey, do you mind doing color commentary for the state softball tournament in Sulphur, Louisiana for LHSAA Network? And I was like, yeah, I'll go back to Sulphur. I haven't been there in 7 years, and I was quickly reminded of how washed up I am. But it was a great time. Color commentary is always fun, and I think you would absolutely kill color just solely because you really just rely on your experience. Obviously, you're prepping a little bit with storylines and interviews before and after, and you got to know the game. But it's a lot of fun to be on the other side of the fence and like see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. Well, I had a lot of fun. First of all, I've never been to Sulphur, Louisiana, so I had to go check that out. Yeah.
Well, we had an experience this weekend.
So I had to go support you. That was really cool to see. But I think just even like you said, the prep work, there's a lot of things that go into that. And knowing the players, knowing the coaches, you got to do some sideline reporting afterwards, right? I think it's like perfect to your craft and what you're doing, right? You know, we've came together in media to do stuff with my collectible shop that I owned, you know, and now you're kind of doing freelance stuff and multiple opportunities that are just kind of opening up for you. So it's a lot of fun to see you kind of wear a bunch of different hats and do that stuff. So I just want to show you some love because I think that was really cool this weekend. And I got to see some high-end softball. It was pretty impressive. And that, they are no joke. There was a parents' fight in the stands. Like, literally, when I walked up to the game, guys, like, I'm not even kidding. I walked up, and there was a fight happening, like, with parents. And there was 8 cops, and I'm like, what is actually happening? I'm like, I told Abby after the game, I was like, dude, I didn't realize how crazy this was until there was a parent fight when I walked up.
A full-on brawl. I had no clue. I'm locked into the game, and I just hear the student section behind me like, a fight, and everybody's turning and looking. But yeah, really good softball. I, ironically enough, got to call the games that I won a state championship on, next to the field I ended my career on. But, you know, definitely a cool experience.
Who were some of the Louisiana powerhouses in softball?
Let's see.
Did any of them win any state championships this weekend?
Sam Houston did over Dutchtown. Both really, really great programs, have been really great for years. That's the last game you saw. John Curtis won another state championship.
Okay. I've heard that name. Yeah, again, guys, so if you're not familiar, I'm from New Jersey, so some of these high school names are still a little unfamiliar to me, but I've obviously been here 15, 16 years now, and I've put pieces together and heard a bunch of legendary players coming from high schools and stuff like that. So
John Curtis is one of those. They got another one. Doyle covered that game right here in Baton Rouge. They brought home some hardware this weekend.
No offense to anybody who went to Doyle or goes to Doyle or parents of the players at Doyle. I've never heard of that high school, and I've been here for 15 years, 16 years.
Well, now you have.
Yeah, so that's
because
why I
of their
went.
softball team.
And that's what I love. I'm serious. I'm like, that's really cool. So I heard of a high school softball team because, I heard of a high school in Baton Rouge because of softball. Really cool.
We had Anthony out here watching high school softball.
I was into it. I was locked in. The fans were crazy. The girl, like, it was fun. It was definitely an experience and something new. So that was cool. Does Barb have a high school softball team? Is that just a boys' school? I don't know.
No, they do.
They do? Okay. Because you know I know that's my guy. That's Caccini's baby.
Yeah.
That's Louisiana Italian American Hall of Fame right there too.
Hey, they may be in Sulphur next weekend if you're looking for some color reps.
What do you mean? Oh, that's where the baseball tournament is? Oh, I would love to do the commentary. Let's go. You heard that?
Somewhere near.
Anybody who's in charge and needs a color commentary, I'd be down.
I'll give a shout for you.
I'd be down.
But speaking of softball, I do thank you for giving me my love there, my flowers. I want to give flowers to LSU softball.
Let's go.
They're doing it. They just came off a win, 5-0 over Mississippi State in the SEC tournament.
Okay.
Pretty great performance from their freshman pitcher, Jaden Heavener. Complete game one hitter.
Ooh.
Complete game one hitter, 8 strikeouts, no walks.
No walks are good. I struggled with that when I was playing,
yeah, they're on a roll right now. And
where
I was
are they at in the season? They got to be
SEC tournament.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're always like a couple weeks ahead of baseball.
Yeah. the defense is on point right now. No errors. I mean, to have somebody in the circle be able to throw a complete game, one hit, and then you've got something that I did talk about a lot this weekend is how important that is. And I mean, something that you know about too, of having a defense behind you that can clean it up, and like you can focus on your job in the circle of throwing the pitches where they're supposed to be, and trusting the defense behind you to make sure nothing, like no damage happens.
Yeah. Is that a Beth like DNA thing? Because if you remember, Allie was on my podcast last year. She was very proud of her defensive ability, right? And she was great, obviously. And then they had the Gold Glove winner, right?
Sierra Briggs.
Yeah, Sierra Briggs.
Yeah.
So I mean, is that something that is the DNA of a team that is, obviously Beth's been around for a long time. It's a great program. We're looking for that national championship and that ticket, right, to OKC. But obviously that's a big part of a championship DNA.
Absolutely. And Allie Newland, I had texted her. She's currently a grad assistant at NC State, graduated from LSU last year in Mass Comm, and she's playing pro ball. Yeah. But I had texted her. She's just caught up today. She couldn't get on today, so we'll have to get her another time. But she won workhorse, right? She is locked down and working all the time. But I think that is a testament to the program that Beth Torina runs of, like, you look back on the years of pitching and the defense, the fielding is stellar. The Gold Gloves, the names that have come out of LSU softball's program, like defense has been a big part of Beth Torina's reign here.
Yeah.
The offense side, like that's been something that, you have your ups and downs and still trying to find that consistent rhythm. But I mean, over the weekend, they out-hit Mississippi State 9-1. So
we love that.
Starting to heat up, and now's the time to do it. The postseason SEC tournament is where you want to be when you're throwing complete game one-hitters and out-hitting a team 9-1. Yeah. So also want to shout out Tori Edwards from LSU softball. Now has the LSU record for deadlifting.
What?
405 pounds. 405
for softball or for women, just in general, any woman athlete at LSU?
I think it's LSU softball.
Okay.
Regardless,
nice, yeah.
405 pounds go off.
Let's go. We love that.
I saw that on.
We love that.
SEC posted it on Instagram right before we went, and I was like, gotta let them know.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. We talk about building a championship team and DNA, and even lifting. That has something to do with it. Recruiting. Is it as cutthroat as baseball? Are you recruiting like 12-year-olds like baseball players are? Like
the recruiting, and I was at the beginning of this phase of like when recruiting got so serious.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because I played ball with Shelby Wickersham, who was a pitcher here at LSU, as well as Jordan Perkins, who played some third base here, DH'd. But I played high school ball and a little bit of travel ball with both of them, and the stories that I heard of how early Shelby got. Actually, I witnessed it in 8th grade. In 8th grade, Shelby was getting recruited by Alabama and LSU. And I remember sitting with her at lunch freshman year, and she was so stressed about where she wanted to go to college.
You said freshman year?
Yes.
You're like, wait, most people are stressing about making friends.
I was 14 years old, and I remember sitting at lunch, and we were talking about it because it was during softball season, whatever. And I was like, what do you mean? You have to make a decision for when you're 18?
Yeah.
I can't even drive yet.
Yeah, it's not fair.
It's serious, and they follow the rules, but the rules are, extending to where you can talk to them younger and people can commit earlier, and it's.
I think they're reversing that again now. They're getting
I would
back.
Hope so.
There's just too many loopholes,
That's
and
so
it's just not
pressure.
fair.
That's so much pressure on it. Even the when I would go to tournaments and be talking to coaches, and again, I'm worried about, like, I'm 15 years old. Like, you can't even drive a car, and I've got 3 coaches coming to talk to me about what I want to do in 4 years.
No. Yeah.
I understand it, and I get the business side of it, but, like, dude.
And it's a child. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, how are you? I don't know. I use Nolan Kane's one of my best friends, stood in his wedding, recruiting coordinator for Texas, one of the best in the country. I'm like, dude, what do you look for in a 12-year-old boy? What are you looking for? How are you assessing his talent and projecting that what he's going to be when he's 18, 19, 20 years old? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess you got to be really good at what you do and know what you're looking for. I guess, So
it's wild to me. And I guess it'll only, when you're projecting how somebody's going to pan out as an athlete, now you have all the technology and stuff to help you a little bit more, but I'm not.
Feels a lot like the weatherman. It's like, we projected it, but it might be wrong. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Just, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. But good stuff. Yeah. Love it. LSU softball, let's go. We need to punch a ticket. Let's get to the College World Series. This is the year. Let's do it. We're just vibing. We were vibing it last year. They were close. They were close.
They're hot right now.
Good.
So let's keep it that way.
All right, good. Well, stay tuned, guys. The next segment, we are going to talk a little LSU sports and continue that. We're going to talk Met Gala, NIL, a little bit of the LSU sports brand. Then we got Joe Schwartz coming on a little while later on, talk LSU basketball. Appreciate y'all being here. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can follow him on all the social medias. I love it. Squirrel Burrell is back rocking with the G team. Elite LSU sprinter. Made the announcement. It's on social media. You can see the photos on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or all the spots. Gordon's done an awesome job with the G team, giving great NIL opportunities to athletes, not just Tigers, but so many athletes across the state of Louisiana, both the revenue sports, the Olympic sports, all of it. You can learn more about all the members of the G team by going to getgordon.com, and love telling you about all the content that they do as well. Gordon sit down with members of the LSU baseball team recently. Kim Mulkey. The Garage is the podcast studio there at Gordon's office, so you want to see all that, you can catch it on YouTube or any of their social medias. Whatever you do, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana. It would make it illegal for roofing companies to go door to door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association and Parish Construction Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers and call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com.
Oh, we're going with the clap. Wow. I don't know if we need that. Wow. The clap.
Come on, the energy's
I guess we're
up.
back. Yeah. That's how you know we're back. Abby's in a mood. She's clapping. She thinks she's hitting a bet today. That's what I think that means.
I don't think. I feel it. Like, I'm like right there, like borderline no.
Wow,
Like,
the cockiness is coming
no.
out. Borderline no.
No,
confidence.
like I know.
I know. No,
Yeah.
I know what you were saying. I'm saying. I know.
Yeah, maybe a little cocky. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want it to happen. I would love that for you. That would be great.
I come out of retirement and just go 6-0.
Retirement from betting?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in. Why are you in retirement?
I put myself in
Wait, why?
timeout
Yeah,
last
why?
football
Why?
season.
What happened? What was going on?
I bet off of emotions.
Yeah. That's
Which
what you don't do.
You told me not
That's
to
what
do
you
it,
don't
and I
do.
did it anyway.
Yeah. Which
What's
means you would
new?
have to bet against the Saints. Sorry, Saints fans.
Hey, I'm
Sorry.
right. You know what? When we get into the Saints,
I know. They'll know. Anyway. Met Gala.
Met Gala.
Talk to me about that. Is that like a dream for
Yes.
like what is it? I'm gonna be honest. What is it?
It's okay, obviously fashion, right? Why
Right.
are we talking about fashion on here? Because it is very hard
Pop culture.
Yeah, it is pop culture. It is very hard to get invited.
Okay.
Like you gotta be
You gotta know somebody. You gotta be
Like,
somebody and know somebody, do something.
Yeah. So every year they have a theme, and it's at the Met in New York.
So the Metropolitan Museum
Yes. And
of Art.
the theme this year was Superfine Tailoring Black Style. So basically, if you get an invite, you have to interpret the theme and like dress to the theme, and it's crazy.
And what was it?
Outfits.
What was the theme again?
Superfine Tailoring Black Style.
Tailoring Black Style.
LeBron was actually he was a co-chair on the board this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So the reason
That's
I
cool.
bring this up, though, is because we saw 5 former LSU athletes, not even former, most of them former, but 5 LSU athletes get invited and walk that carpet, including Flau'jae Johnson, Angel Reese, Sha'Carri Richardson, Joe Burrow, and Justin Jefferson.
Some pretty good names.
Yeah, like I said, it is incredibly difficult to get invited to that.
So yeah, Google says the Met Gala is an invitation-only event. Vogue editor-in-chief Anna has the final say on who attends, regardless of how much money they or their sponsors donate.
Yep.
Oh my God! Even if a brand buys a table, they need Winter's approval
Yep.
for their guest list.
Yeah. There's like well-known celebrities that don't get invited.
Wow. Yeah.
So
But I think that speaks volumes, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're, a show in Louisiana, and I think that is the global stage of pop culture,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I mean, for 5 former LSU athletes doing things in the world, to be invited to that, I think is really speaking volumes to
Yeah.
what LSU's brand is, right?
The
and
brand.
and these athletes and what they're doing, right?
And that's what, so when we talk about NIL and how LSU really is leading that, it's because they allow these athletes to create their own brand. That's actually something that I interviewed Anissa Morrow, 2023, November 2023, and she and I sat in their new glam room after they won the national championship. They got a glam room it's beautiful, and they do their hair and makeup in there and eyelashes and everything. And we sat there and talked about, how the school and the program really pushes their athletes to be themselves and kind of gives them a stage to do so. And we've watched that with Flau'jae, being a college basketball player, a very good college basketball player under Kim Mulkey, and then having a full-time rap career, like handling both.
Yeah.
But they've given her the space to do that. And, you know, Mulkey was like, as long as you're at every practice, you don't miss anything, and you're performing on the court, I don't care what you do. Go on. And Angel Reese, Bayou Barbie, they really, you know, bought into that branding. Joe Burrow with the EAUX on the jersey. And
look at Angel.
Yeah. I mean, she looks
that
like
fit
grown
and the
woman.
make, like, that's unbelievable. The hair, everything.
This is, and I'll be honest, this is probably one of the more like toned down outfits.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think again,
great.
it's the style, right? And I think that's what she's going for. I don't know. To me, I again, and ironically enough, you and I are sitting on stage here or on a show here in Baton Rouge, and I originally hired you at Cards and Culture, right? Because I was saying that we are in such a transformational state of athletes and documenting these journeys in this moment in time, right? These athletes and what they're doing is just different. No LSU athletes have ever done this stuff. OBJ, Shaq, right? They have penetrated that A-list celebrity status, but I think these athletes, and especially the women, right, are doing things that we've never seen before, bringing awareness to so many different things and allowing different athletes to have a lane. And what I think is really cool is athletes like Trace, right? What's his last name? The basketball player?
Young.
Trace Young, right? Doesn't get a lot of minutes on the court. Definitely a freak athlete. He can do some cool dunks, but the internet and social media and media in general and content creation are allowing these individuals to become brands that still positively impact the university. So Chase, right? Chase, that's his name. Trace is not on the court putting balls in the rim to score points and contribute to the LSU basketball team, but he's bringing awareness to an LSU basketball program that could bring in the next best players.
It's the recruiting aspect.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, these athletes are getting their brands and they have creative freedom. I mean, Sha'Carri looks beautiful. The nails. Anyway, you're allowing them to build their brand and, you know, be paid outside of the school, but it's the recruiting, because as a kid, you're watching Angel Reese and Flage, and maybe you want to play women's college basketball somewhere. LSU is going to be probably if you could go anywhere, LSU is going to be up there because of people like Angel Reese and Flage Johnson, and, you know, what their whole brand is and what they've done for not just the program, but for women in general.
I couldn't speak enough on the volumes that what they're doing and how they're impacting people. And I think, you know, this next segment, we're probably going to cut to a break here in a minute, but this next segment, we're going to bring on Joe Schwartz, right, who is one of the, obviously is a great basketball coach and is part of this program, but he does a great job of expressing himself as a coach and encouraging the other coaches. And LSU women's basketball as a brand, right, is its own spinoff of Flage and of Angel doing their own thing, right? So I think him coming in and talking to that, you know, he went to the Kentucky Derby. I'm tuned in looking at his photos, his fits, right? Like, that to me is brand. That's a really cool experience. So I'm excited to chop it up with Joe in this next segment. So if you guys are hanging out, if you guys are listening, make sure you stick around. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique, and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for Unique Aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling. And right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, and we're back. Welcome back to After Further Review. Abby Alonzo alongside Anthony Ranaudo, filling in for Matt Moscona.
That song was a vibe. Was that you, Moose? Nice, bro. That was a. Hey,
I can't take all the credit for it, dude. It's just like some generic beat that I literally found during the break. But you know, look, we all
you should have been like,
flagged.
yeah, bro. I've been stewing over this for a minute. Yeah, this is the one.
It's actually an original. Well, if you were with us before the break, we were talking a little bit about LSU NIL, the brands they build, and that kind of segued us perfectly into a call with Joe Schwartz with LSU women's basketball. You kind of introduced him before we went to break, but Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, I can.
Joe's live. You got to make sure that you let Joe know, in case he didn't hear, how we gave him a lot of love for his fits. You got to make sure that we gave you the proper intro, Joe. Don't worry.
You did. You got a pretty good intro.
Well, I appreciate it.
We did just see your fits at the Kentucky Derby. I hope that was a great weekend. It was probably so much fun. I'm very jealous.
Oh my gosh, it was electric. It was a blast. And I only won one horse bet, but it was the Derby one. So.
Oh, that's good. That's the main one. That's the one you want.
It was a good way. It was a good note to end on.
Exactly. Yes, that's awesome.
Well, what we were telling everybody is kind of you've got the swag on the side of the court, and it's really become a thing with LSU women's basketball. We were talking about Flage and Angel being at the Met Gala, and really what that's doing for women in college athletics as well as recruiting. And you kind of look like you spearhead a little bit of that on the sidelines, encouraging other coaches to, express themselves in their game day fits. You do a great job. I mean, we've even asked you to break down your game day fits a couple times for Valley Vision. And then you've got the girls walking in the tunnels and the pregame picks. So talk a little bit about the culture within LSU women's basketball and how you guys come up with those things and why it's so important.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and we talk about this a lot in recruiting, is one thing that Coach Mulkey is big on is letting our players and young women be themselves. And that starts at the top with Coach. I won't forget it because people ask me this all the time about our sideline sits. We sat down as a staff in July, the first summer that we got to LSU, and it was right after COVID, that COVID season when really every team started wearing the, quarter zips and sweats on the sideline. And Coach Mulkey said, guys, I'm fine with whatever y'all want, but we're trying to build a program here and set an example. And it was year one. And we kind of took a vote. And as we were looking around the table, everyone was like, I think it looks sloppy. It may be comfortable, but we don't want to be the same as everyone else.
It's not turning heads, yeah.
So we decided that let's start rocking fits on the sideline. Now, I don't think we ever expected it to be as extravagant as it is now. That was before Jamie met Kim and was like, hey, let me get Queen of Sparkles on you. And now you look up and you've got grown men in the stands wearing sparkle jackets. Yeah. You've got grown women, young kids. So I think it started back in July, the first summer we got here, and now it's just carried over, and it's an expectation. And I think that trickles down to our players. Jennifer Roberts on our staff she's in charge of NIL and influence, and she does a great job with our girls. They have a glam day before the season where they actually get to pick out certain outfits and dress for a full day, and it's a personal development day, teaching them how to talk in front of microphones, be in front of the camera, and not saying that we promise every recruit that they're going to be at the Met Gala, but we, in more simpler terms, like you look at Flage and Angel, they have both used what they did at LSU to do it on a national level. And so I think it's very cool now to see that what we do for our kids, allowing them to have personalities and to present themselves in such a way that expresses more than just a female playing basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids have personalities, and these kids they're more than basketball players, and they are very creative and have creative minds. And so you put their minds with different agencies or with their managers or with our staff, and you're starting to see that. I mean, look, you have Joe Burrow, you had Justin Jefferson. Like, I mean, it's very special.
It is, and honestly, it creates a different type of fandom, Joe. So, like, as a basketball fan, I've always been a women's basketball fan. I was a fan of Van Chancellor when I first came down here, and that's what made me like LSU women's basketball, right? And I would go to the games because of that. And then I fell in love with Sylvia Fowles, right? You fall in love with players and you like their game. And today's game, with the phones and social media, you have different access to the players. It's no longer just their game and their personality on the court, right? You get to see them represent themselves in different ways. And now you're going to the game to watch how they represent themselves on the basketball court because you know them so well off the court, right? And you want to go see how Flage goes and competes at the highest level and how Angel competes at the highest level because you know them differently off the court. So I think that's the way that you guys are grabbing different types of fans and then making them basketball fans, which is really cool and unique.
It really is. And it goes back to what Coach said is we're trying to set a tone. We don't want to be on the same level as every other school. LSU has a brand and allows the individuals on our team to express themselves in such a way that you're mixing their individual brand with the school's brand and in turn creating a monster.
Bigger,
and I don't mean monster in a bad way. It's like, it's a giant. Like,
yeah, it's a great collaboration.
Between social media following, between fans in the stands. I mean, I think we're now 3 consecutive years where our attendance is over 10,000 a game.
Sheesh.
And this year, quite honestly, people want to talk about our schedule. We didn't have a great home schedule because we had to play Texas on the road, because we had to play South Carolina on the road, because we played Tennessee on the road. But y'all know how the SEC works.
Yeah.
Flip that. This coming year, we get all of them at home.
Boy, you just made me very happy right there.
I mean, like, you want to talk about excitement and fans, like, what are the coaches going to wear to the games? They're coming to the games because of our players. But then on the flip side, one thing that Coach Mulkey does so well is prepares our young ladies for life after basketball. What does that mean? Okay, Flage, you had a bad game tonight. You had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. There's 200 kids outside, and this is on the road too, that are waiting to take a picture with you, that are waiting for an autograph. They paid big money or traveled a long way to come see you play. So pick your head up, go out, sign autographs, fake it a little bit if you have to, but you are inspiring a young generation that honestly is a little bit lost right now. I'm scared to death for the younger generation because of how crazy our world is right now.
Yep.
But we've got girls that are making such a positive influence on kids that they don't even know. And we see it at home, and we're spoiled because LSU has an extremely good fan base and they love us, but it's like everywhere we go, it's a crowd. We have to travel with 2, sometimes 3 police officers for extra security. And that's not including our strength coach who kind of plays the role as security. So I think the brand itself, LSU, is so powerful, but now you have a coach who's allowing players to express themselves in such a way on and off the court because, I mean, you've seen our players. They're not just prima donnas that dress well, tunnel fits, and then come out on the court. I mean, they're going to talk a little bit. They're going to push around, push and shove, and but we want that.
Right.
We don't want our kids to be dirty, but we want them to be ballers. We want them to be tough. We want them to be gritty, and it starts with Mulkey. Like that's the bottom line. Is she sets the tone, and it starts day one in practice in late August, early September, and she doesn't put up with kids that are soft.
Right.
She'll tell you if you're hurt, don't come to practice. Go to the training room, and she doesn't mean it in a mean way, but it's like, what good are you going to do standing on the sideline not practicing when you could be rehabbing and getting better? And it all starts at the top. Go ahead.
I respect Mulkey so much for that, to be able to do both as a coach, not to just hound her girls to be grinders at practice and on the court, but to also push them to be a good person too. I do want to ask you, we only have a few minutes left here, but talking about, you got some new names on the roster and you want to talk about bringing in some new talent. Why don't you give us a little bit of inside scoop on who we're going to be seeing this season that may not have been in an LSU uniform last season?
Well, yeah, we do have some new additions, and fingers crossed we may have a couple more on the way.
Let's go.
We're actually in a dead period right now, so we've got coaches in Cancun, at the beach, Mulkey's home, seeing the grandkids.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I'll start with the ones that have committed to us. Kate Koval from Notre Dame, big post player, good player, big body, 6'5".
Let's go.
She's from the Ukraine. We actually finished second in her recruitment going into, I guess, when she was a senior in high school.
Yeah, her true freshman.
And we loved her. It hurt all of us to see her go to Notre Dame, but we didn't burn any bridges. And, we reached out to her when she got in the portal, and very, very quickly she decided that she wanted to come to LSU.
Love that.
And so we're excited for her. She's got a really good low post game, but she can step out and shoot that 12 to 15 footer and is getting better and better from the 3-point line. I know there's been a lot of videos on social media of her working out already this summer, and we're excited to get her down here. The next one is a girl named Amaya Joyner. She is from East Carolina, from Farmville, North Carolina.
Nice.
And she's just a raw talent, gritty post, kind of more of a 4 player, can step out and shoot it, loves to rebound, which, after having Angel for 2 years and Anissa, we're going to need someone to step up and start rebounding.
Yes.
So look for Amaya to really come in and set a good tone, energy giver. So we're excited for her. Another one, I don't know if people are familiar with this name, but Mylasia Fulwiley.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
The handles are crazy, man. I'm excited.
We're so excited to have her and everything she brings, and we're glad she's going to be in an LSU jersey because it seems like every time we've played South Carolina, she's kind of been the difference maker in the game. So look for that fast-paced, electric point guard that we want. That's the Mulkey run offense. She can play off the ball. She can play point. She can step out and shoot it. But the thing about Malaysia is the fast pace. She can finish at the rim. She's flashy, but she also is a baller, and we're really excited for her. And then we've got 4 freshmen coming in that can really play. They were all of them were Jordan Brand All-Americans. A couple of them were McDonald's All-Americans. So real quick, I'll start with Divine Burridge, quick guard, really a lot like Malaysia, can push the ball, can shoot it, very quick. Expecting her to play a lot of defense and then get out and run. Bella Hines is another guard, a really, really good shooter, unlimited range, and a lot of videos on social media of her crossing people, making them fall. We're really excited about her. Next, I'll go Zakiya Johnson. She's actually from Shelbyville, Kentucky. 4-time Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Kentucky, so she's right outside of Louisville. I wanted to see her this weekend, but by the time I got to the track on Friday, she was already leaving. She said she didn't want to sit through the rain. So I didn't get to see her this weekend, but she is a Louisville/Shelbyville kid. Big wing player, can shoot it outside, can drive to the rack. Got to get her more physical on the board. And that brings me to our next one, Grace Knox from Vegas. She's what we're hoping to be the next Angel, the next Anissa, just a hard-nosed rebounder. She's already told us. She said, I want to break their records.
Wow, let's go.
So here's the thing. She's coming in as a freshman. Those two came in as sophomores, juniors, transfer.
Yep.
So she's getting a fresh start.
Yep.
And we told her, it's like, you've got to earn minutes, but the best way to earn minutes is act like every day in practice you're trying to break their records, get on the glass. So we're really excited about that group of 4. And, and like I said, we may have a couple more before the season starts that come, and we'll be wearing the purple and gold next year. So we're excited. We've got a good class coming in, but we're not done yet.
I love that. That fires me up, man. And I heard something that there was a couple different themes there that I heard, and it fires me up. So one, I interviewed or got to sit with Jasmine Carson after you guys won the national championship. And, I asked her, I was like, what's the biggest adjustment, offenses? She was like, Mulkey just wants you to run and go and score and trust that we're going to make the right decisions in a fast paced offense. And that's what it sounds like your guards are trying to do this year. And then you got the big bodies that clean up the messes, right, and go and crash the boards. And I love that combo because when you come to the game, that's what I want to see. I want to see fast pace, and I want to see bodies banging down low and getting boards. So it sounds like a nice recipe for 2025 for sure.
Yes. I know we're short on time, but I do want to.
No, we're good.
So it was actually fun this past weekend. Malaysia and Michaela were actually playing in some USA 3-on-3, and they got to the finals. They were playing against each other, and Malaysia actually hit a game winner over Michaela.
Oh, no way! Oh my God!
So that video is out there as well. But they competed hard, and I think both of them will be playing all over the world this summer, mainly in June. So if people want to stay tuned to our Twitter and social media, we're posting. I think Michaela said they go Phoenix, and then maybe Colorado. Then she's going to Mongolia.
Wow.
Maybe Paris. They're bouncing all around. It's that 3-on-3 USA basketball. So hopefully they put them on the same team and they're not playing against each other the whole summer.
Yeah, start building some chemistry. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But going back to what we talked about with Coach Mulkey, I think the biggest thing is allowing our players to be themselves, and that includes the summertime. I mean, we obviously want them in the gym getting better, but if that means they've got to be playing USA basketball, or if Flage's got music shows going on, Flage travels with a trainer. She travels with a nutritionist. They're taking care of their business on the court. It's not like if you don't see them in Baton Rouge all summer, it's not like they're not working.
Right.
Jada Recharge, she's in the gym every day. Kaylin Gilbert in the gym every day. But they're kids that are staying in Baton Rouge to do it. But that's one thing that Mulkey is so good about is understanding burnout and understanding how these kids need to be coached, because we coach these kids from September, and the goal is to be the first weekend of April. And that's a lot of time. And they're hearing our voices constantly every day, and they're on a very strict schedule every day. But if we pick right back up at the end of May and we require them to be here all summer and do all sorts of team stuff, they're going to get tired. They're going to get burnt out. And we don't want that because we feel like our strength and conditioning coach in the month of August can get them back in shape, get them where they need to be for September workouts. And then we hit the ground running in October for full practice. And then we don't even start playing until the first week of November. So I don't want to say we want to ease into it, but the whole goal of college basketball is to be playing your best basketball in late February, early March, leading into the tournament. And is anyone really going to argue with Multi's recipe for success? I mean, the women's won 4 national championships. We've been to three straight Elite Eights, and we lost to the overall number 1, won the national championship, and lost to Caitlin Clark, who, I mean, she's a phenomenal talent. So,
you guys,
it's great.
Yeah, you guys are killing it out there, man. And Joe, thank you for the time, bro. We gotta cut to a break here in a second, but that's Joe Schwartz. Make sure you guys are following LSU women's basketball and Joe on social media. A bunch of good stuff coming up. Joe, thank you for the time, brother. Keep killing it, and we'll talk soon. And if you guys are listening, make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll wrap up this hour and then get into the last. This is After Further Review.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Hey, y'all. Mother's Day's on Sunday. You can go get mom roses, and they're going to die in a week. Or you can go to Clegg's and buy mom rose bushes to plant in front or back that will produce beautiful, bursting blooms for years to come that she can enjoy. Not sure what to get her? Cool. Go to Clegg's, get mom a Clegg's gift card. Let her choose what she wants. Maybe it's not flowers. Maybe it's any of the outdoor decor, like the tuned wind chimes, which are an amazing accent piece to any outdoor space. If you've never seen them, you got to go check them out. They got them at Clegg's Nursery. Siga near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, they've been serving Baton Rouge for more than 60 years. So get in your garden and just plant something and take care of mom with this Mother's Day at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Welcome back to After Further Review. Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo, what are you laughing at?
No, I was laughing because this is like the R&B jams by Matt Moscona. I like it. This is
He really just likes your playlist. Just send it to him.
I can't even take credit for this. I mean, dude.
But you're picking it. It's you know the sound, the right sound.
I am, but I mean, I've never heard this beat until literally the break. I was like, this looks fine.
It was the right one, yeah.
Yeah, it's pop beat, connection,
I love that he said it
type.
looks fine. He didn't even really hear it, but it was the right choice.
Yeah, I mean,
right
I preview it listening, but
that makes sense.
You know,
you're happy.
It's great.
You
I am
like
happy.
it.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, well, we just had a nice long phone call with Joe Schwartz.
Killed it. He's the man.
Yeah,
Yes.
great insight there. Talking about the brand and letting us know that Kim Mulkey is exactly who we thought she was, of how she pushes these girls on all cylinders. Loved hearing that. This is going to be a quick in and out. We do have a little bit of a hard out, but y'all stay tuned for the top of the hour. We're going to talk a little bit of Saints. Derek Carr. I'm going to give my piece on that.
Guys, if you really want to hang around, I'm telling you, I know the right buttons to press to just really get her going. So, yeah, this could be fun because if you say the right things or the wrong things about Derek Carr, Drew Brees, the Saints.
Look.
We're gonna rip some sports cards too.
Yeah.
There's so many
sports
good things.
bets. This is the fun part. So definitely stay around.
Well, I thought I was having fun for the
I mean,
first
the whole
2
thing
hours.
is fun, but like we actually you're into sports betting, all that kind of stuff.
This is the calculated chaos. This is it. Make sure you guys stay tuned. This is After Further Review.
After Further Review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You know, one of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors megastar Steph Curry will be a spectator for at least a week. Sources tell ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania Curry's likely out at least until Game 4 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Timberwolves due to a grade 1 left hamstring strain. ESPN basketball analyst Jay Billis.
They played without Curry at different parts of the season. That's happened, and they played pretty well. And what it does is change roles. And I think it makes Buddy Hield, one, more important, but two, Buddy Hield, without Steph Curry, will have less catch-and-shoot opportunities, and that's where he excels. When he can shoot the ball with his feet set, he drills it.
Jay Billis on Joe and Q. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis remains probable. Game 2 versus the Knicks tonight. Boston's down 1-0. Maple Leafs ruled out goalie Anthony Stolar's Game 2 second-round Stanley Cup playoff series against the Panthers tonight. Face off in an hour on ESPN. Stolar's elbowed in the head in the Game 1 win. Joseph Woll starts tonight for Toronto. PSG beat Arsenal. Will face Inter Milan in the Champions League final.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is here for all of life's needs, with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
All right. Looks like we made it to the final hour. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Anthony Ranaudo, joined by Abby Alonzo, filling in for Matt Moscona today. Thank you guys. If you guys are driving home from work, I hope you guys had a great day. If you guys are already home, I hope you had a great day. If you're doing whatever, I hope you had a great day. Just really hope you had a great day. That's really what it's about, you know, positivity. But it's been a great show so far. We've talked a little bit of LSU sports. We had Joe Schwartz from LSU basketball come on and talk. Talked the Met Gala. Talked a little bit of LSU baseball specifically. Talked to LSU softball a little bit. High school softball, right?
We've been bouncing around.
Yeah, we did a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, all the headlines. And now we're going to get into some Saints football first. We're going to give you your time to talk and vent. Maybe this is really just going to be Abby's therapy session. I don't know.
All right.
Talk to me.
Okay.
I'm just going to start saying hot words and just let you just start yapping.
I have processed what has happened up until this point.
Okay. And remember, I'm not a Saints fan, so I'm a Louisiana resident. So this is good. I can learn a little bit about the Saints.
Well, before I even go into this or get on my soapbox, guys, I grew up in New Orleans, worked in the press box. I've done interviews with Cam Jordan and Deuce McAllister. They were so nice. They let this little 17-year-old girl just hold up an iPhone and just talk to them. It's precious. But I grew up going to Saints games with my dad, season ticket holders. So like longtime Saints fan. I gotta say, I'm at my wit's end. I really am.
Why?
Let me give context.
They just got a new head coach. Like, isn't that a good thing? Why are we not positive?
Because
I'm just
you're
asking.
right.
I'm just asking.
You're right.
I'm just asking.
You're right. You're right.
I just
You're
wanna
right. I like Kellen Moore. I like Doug Nussmeier.
Okay.
The Brandon Staley move.
Is that a Nussmeier related to
Yes,
the Garrett?
that's his father.
His father.
His
Wow.
father. His
Faja.
daddy.
His
dad.
Faja.
Yeah. So he's
Wow.
in New Orleans. He's getting drafted at. Well, hold on.
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his dad. So yes, we've brought in a lot of personnel. Flipped everything. Brandon Staley being a defensive coordinator, not a head coach, is the better move for him. The context I want to give is this: the Derek Carr shoulder situation is really bugging me. He finds out about the shoulder injury, which happened against the Giants last year, by the way, when he hurt his wrist.
She's saying that because I'm a Giants fan. I grew up in New Jersey,
Yeah,
so
right.
Fan is
That's a stretch.
Yeah, a stretch.
But it's okay. It's your.
I follow.
Team.
That's
There we go.
That's my home team. That's my hometown team.
So he finds out later on that he actually injured his shoulder in that game as well, and he just recently went and visited 2 doctors in New Orleans. I'm hitting the table. Oh, let me put my hands in my lap. He just went and visited 2 doctors to see what's up with the shoulder. He would prefer not to have surgery.
So
Mickey
this is not a media play. So Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted, right? Because wasn't that like a thing for a little while?
At this point, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't, because Mickey Loomis came out and said if Carr is healthy, he'll be QB1.
Okay.
Asterisks around if Carr is healthy.
Right.
We don't know, and we won't know.
And the Saints drafted a quarterback.
Tyler Shuck,
Right.
Louisville, quarterback in the 2nd round over both Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Mind you, he's only played 1 full college football season.
Wow. Wait, so they picked him over Jackson Dart?
Yes.
They had to pick.
Oh, no. Jackson Dart
was like
slipped
the end
up
of
in
the
first, 40th
yeah.
to the Giants. So you're right. But with all the quarterbacks on the board, Tyler Shuck kind of came out of
Yeah, no,
left
that was
field,
not a name that people.
right?
Yeah.
No, the media was throwing around Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders. They went with Tyler Shuck. Kellen Moore said he likes him, and you've got a whole new offensive staff essentially. So they know what I am not in the Saints front office, right? I don't have any grounds to criticize. I am a bit nervous, and I think that's fair to say, because we paid so much money for Derek Carr thinking, hey, Drew's out, we need a new franchise quarterback, experienced veteran, we'll pay a lot of money for him. He comes in and you're seeing issues with Michael Thomas, and there's not really chemistry, and there's a bunch of injuries, and things aren't panning out.
Yeah, the Carr thing hasn't been a positive thing from what I've seen.
No, I have not been a fan. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just, it's not,
Fan
we're
of
not getting
him
the
or
results.
the situation?
I don't
Both?
like him in the Saints system.
Okay.
Now, it could be a new system because, again, new coaching, but
So you don't want to give Kellen Moore a chance? And
I do. Now, but here's the thing. If Carr's healthy, we don't know if he's going to be healthy, because if he's not, I believe Tyler Shuck is getting that starting spot.
Yeah.
Over Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener. So our quarterback room is really not making me confident.
Gotcha.
We haven't made the playoffs since I don't remember. It's been too long. That's the problem. I can't even remember when we made the playoffs. My thing is, and Scott Shanley went on Twitter, right, when we found out about Carr's injury, and said basically, if you're injured, you need to go see doctors and you need to get the surgery.
And he wasn't doing that?
No, he wasn't doing that. It was almost like it was an excuse.
Right.
And Scott Shanley is a world champion with the Saints, linebacker. He was on that 2009 team that won the Super Bowl. So he's speaking from being led by a guy like Drew Brees, a leader who took accountability, and that team went through a lot of hardship, and he called him out basically. And now Carr is going to see a doctor. I don't know. It's weird. We're not going to know what happens. I will say I like how the Saints drafted on defense.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. It's always defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, they went heavy on defense, which they needed to do. I'm excited to see how they immediately affect the both D-line and O-line, like the draft picks. I'm curious to see about Tyler Shuck. I will say this. Nick Saban had good things to say about him. And if Nick Saban says it,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more credible.
Okay.
Quick release. He's got a strong arm. He's just a little bit off in decision-making and under pressure.
Did they upgrade at all for protection for the quarterback? Was that something?
Yeah, so
was
that's
a
what we
problem with
went
Carr?
first
Was
round.
that okay?
First round. And I made some social media stuff. People were on me like, whoever's throwing the ball needs protection. I agree. I just have seen this play over and over and over again where we go get an offensive lineman in the first round and then it's a bust or it just doesn't.
And you saw this a lot when you were covering Chat Sports, right?
Yeah.
For Amazon, and like just how many teams did you have to cover there? Yeah. And some of them struggle, right? Like the reason I can say this is you've seen this song play and dance before.
Buddy, I the Titans.
That's what I thought.
covered the Titans on a daily basis,
I didn't want to throw them under the bus, but
so like as much as I complain,
as
much as I complain about the Saints sometimes, I did have to cover the Titans day in and day out, and that poor franchise just can't figure it out. Cam Ward, though, maybe Cam Ward gets it done
might be the
for
right
them.
move, yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's so important. So the move to go grab Kelvin Banks Jr. in the first round, you have to, like, people, we were talking about this about Will Campbell, like, the O-line never gets as much credit as they should because without a strong front, your quarterback can't do his job, your running back can't do his job, your wide receiver, nobody can be the stars that they are without that front being strong.
It blows my mind because as I played the game of baseball. I'm pretty involved in the business of the game. I love basketball. Played that growing up, right? So I know the intricacies, and I love the sport of basketball and the business of basketball. Football, I didn't play growing up. So those things that you just described, when I turn on the TV and I see an O lineman that I've never heard of get $100 million, and I'm like, wait, and the running back is complaining that he can't get $20 million guaranteed, right? Like, it's kind of crazy to me, but to your point, that's the whole system, right?
Yeah.
That is what makes it work and why they're so important. So
that's why guys like Will Campbell are going off the board at 4.
Yeah, and again, for somebody who didn't play the game and doesn't understand the X's and O's of being an athlete and actually playing the sport, it really does blow my mind how many different things go into building a team and a roster. Yeah.
Even before, like, I've always been a fan. Before I was really in it and like doing my research, I didn't understand. And then I got thrown into the Titans trenches and I was like, oh my gosh, like nobody can do anything because the O-line's hurt.
Yeah.
Like
I learned a little bit of that when Joe got to the league, Joe Burrow, right? Because I watched him play in college, and then when he got to the Bengals, they're like, yeah, his offensive line is just so bad. I'm like, oh my God, you just paid so much money for this guy. How are you not having all the best people protecting him? And then it's like, oh, well, then you just paid Joe. So obviously you can't go pay the other highest paid position, right, to protect that guy. So yeah, it's interesting. The levels of business that it takes to run a successful franchise and year in, year out. And again, it makes you like tip your cap to Belichick, to Brady, that had those 20-year runs of like, oh, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be the 1 or 2 seed, right? They're going to be those dudes. It's pretty wild. It really is. So.
And the only reason I'm bringing up draft stuff, because the draft did happen a little while ago, is because there have been updates on Derek Carr of like he just visited those doctors and they should have an answer on whether he'll be healthy enough to play this season soon. But if not, now you look at the quarterback room with Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. Yeah. And it looks like that's going to be the depth chart behind Carr is Shuck is going to get his go right off the bat.
Well, we'll get some information soon, right? Because did camp just start or voluntary?
Rookies.
What are we at?
Rookie mini camp starts tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, so this is when all the drama comes out of who's sitting out and who's not going and who's gonna not go to optionals or mini camp, right, and all that stuff. So
all the BS.
Yeah, all the good stuff, all the stuff that the media likes to
It starts about, tomorrow.
Right? All right, that's good to know. Well, good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that insight.
I think I was good. I didn't vent too much.
No, you didn't. That was under control. That was under control. Yeah. But the next segment I'm looking forward to, we're going to get into your picks of why you made some MLB picks. We're going to go over some headlines. We might rip some sports cards and get into it a little bit. Thank you guys for being here again. Stay tuned for the next segment. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like Their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionINDINC.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. When we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding, and now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
Do you like this song?
I do. The vibes are great. This one feels. I don't know. This isn't the same vibe as the other two. The other two, I was like, I wanted a nice glass of wine. I'd be like vibing. This one here, I'm like, I might be with like my nieces and nephews at like a Disney trip. I don't know. But I like it.
I mean, you gotta switch it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you can't just have the same deal.
Definitely
all the
not.
time,
No, I like
you know?
it. This was a good switch up. Yeah, I'm on it. We're finishing strong here. We got about 40 minutes left of the show.
Woo-hoo.
Appreciate everybody being here. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm Anthony Ranaudo with Abby Alonzo, filling in for Matt Moscona. We appreciate your time. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hopefully work was good. Whatever else you're doing in the world, hope it was a great day. We're all about positivity and optimism.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Let's get to the good stuff.
We're about to make some sports picks, maybe some baseball picks for you tonight, because part of my thing that I like to do is some calculated risk, right? So if you guys know anything about me, I've started a few businesses, but I'm also heavily involved in collectibles, which carry a little bit of a risk, but backed by a little bit of knowledge of sports, if you know a little bit about sports and the collectibles world. So we're going to dive into a little bit of that and talk some baseball and then maybe give you guys some picks. And I think Abby is excited about her picks. I'm not sure how confident we should be in them.
Hey!
What? I just said
you
I'm not sure.
just said we're like being positive today.
That's what I said. I said I'm not sure about how positive we should be.
How confident. Okay, I've been in timeout since football season. Today I did my own research. I didn't tell. Okay, but I said earlier I was in timeout because I was betting off of emotion.
Right.
I didn't do that today.
Yeah.
I did my research.
Okay. So what do you like today? What do you look for when you sports bet or when you
I think
pick?
you're the expert here, so I think
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
I'm not an expert at all.
Well,
I make picks.
Yeah.
And I do research. I like calculated risk, and that's the whole thing. Is like the way I look at it is I don't like going to the casino and putting $5 in a slot machine and just hoping that the machine tells me I won money, right? I'm trusting that.
You're gambling.
Yeah, that's gambling. So to me, I like calling it calculated risk. If Aaron Judge has a track record of X, Y, and Z, I like looking at that and saying, you know what? This kind of fits that mold. And then you can do some percentages, and based on the lines of the books, you guys can put some money on that, right? And that feels better.
So I actually took a couple pages out of your book, and I looked at some trends.
Okay.
Like past 10 days kind of thing. And then I looked at matchups between specific hitters and pitchers, and then how that pitcher like historically throws against that team.
Nice.
I know, I've been learning from you.
Let's go. Okay, so the way I just try to apply some of my knowledge of playing the game, right, is very similar to scouting. When you're scouting a team or when I was about to pitch, right, I'm looking at the lineup. I'm thinking of my past history against them. I'm thinking of how I pitched at that stadium, right? I'm thinking about the umpire. I'm thinking about the weather results. So it's really similar to scouting a team. So that's similar. Like that's really what I do. So we look at the starting lineups. We look at the historical data. We look at the trends, who's hitting well, what zones they're hitting in. Does that fit the pitcher that is pitching against them? And if it matches up, we're going to take some calculated risk. And the sports books usually do enough work for you to show you, hey, this line or this book's pick is actually better than the same pick on this other book, right? So all of that, I think, plays a factor into this, and that's going to be the fun part. So what did you see today when doing some numbers? And let's talk about some headlines. I mean, first of all, Aaron Judge is doing some absolute silly things in baseball. Like he's having a historically, I don't even know if it's been done before, some of the things he's doing. So yeah.
What he just hit how many? We were looking at home runs the other day.
He hit his 12th home run, which is a little lower than like you would think for his slugging and things like that. Because
how spoiled are we?
I know, right? Yeah, still leading the league in homers, and it's like, really? Okay, like
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, he's I thought he would have been at 15 to 18 home runs right now, and they were comparing Mickey Mantle's first 34 games, and like all the other numbers match up. Like his average is higher than Mickey Mantle, so you would assume some of those hits would be homers because of his traditional slugging percentage. But he also leads the league in singles, which signals to me that Aaron Judge is taking that next step as a hitter and not necessarily worrying about double or homer or bust, right? He's like, I want to be on base. I want to be the best player I can be, and that to me is the difference for him this year.
What I just realized earlier, we were talking about Jared Jones and how he's evolved throughout the years and kind of figuring out what works for him and becoming a better player. When you told me that Judge went to, what is that small college that he went to?
Fresno.
Yeah.
Fresno State.
And that he was either a strikeout or hit a bomb kind of thing. And just to see how he's progressed throughout his career to focus on things like that, like I'm going to be an on-base guy, like more power to him, and that makes him one of the best players in baseball ever.
No,
right?
literally, yeah. And I mean, a lot of people were nervous, and like even me as a Yankee fan and as an Aaron Judge fan, how he was gonna last year. He had one of the best plate discipline hitters ever in front of him that drew walks and made them pitch to him. So I was just anxious to see how it goes. And he's responded really well. So yeah, if you're not taking Aaron Judge for hits, runs, RBIs pretty consistently, I would highly suggest against that.
So do you have some picks for him today?
I actually did not take anything today. Okay, for him.
I do.
But also I may put something in later because their game's a little later. So I liked some other guys earlier in the day, and I threw some action on that, but I don't know. So what do you got?
Okay, so he's got he's hit total bases. The total bases over in 19 of his last 25 games.
Ooh, that's a strong number.
They're playing the Padres.
What's the over under? 1.5.
Dylan Cease. It is 1.5 at -120. I only checked. You got to check the sports books to find the best odds. But he's facing Cease, and he has a 400 average against Cease in 10 at bats, 4 hits, 1 home run, and 5 strikeouts. So Cease gets him on strikeouts, but I'm taking the over on 1.5 total bases for Judge tonight.
Okay. So a double works, a triple works, a homer works, right? 2 singles. So I like that. What I don't like is normally total bases has a little bit more positive value. So they're saying it's probably going to happen or people are taking it.
I told you my bets were a little less risky today.
I like that. I like that lean a lot.
-120.
I lean towards hits, runs, RBIs with Judge just because they walk him a lot, and then if somebody else hits a home run and knocks him in, that's the only reason I usually lean towards that. If I take total bases with Judge, it's usually an add-on to the hits, runs, RBIs. So, but I do like it. Yeah.
I looked at RBIs and I think it was just too, it was -140. And you know how I am. I'm it's not.
Yeah,
you should definitely,
that
is the safer option. This is not financial advice. Please do not take this to heart. But personally, I'm like, if it's over or if it's bigger than, would you say bigger?
-135.
Yeah.
If the odds are long, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
If
it's juiced more than 135,
yeah, -130
it's
is about the point where I'm like, that's not worth it for me personally. But anyway.
Yeah, but I like that. That's a good lean. And then what I like against that is you're not dependent on his teammates, right? Because he can still hit a home run, but then you cash your total bet. But he can't do hits, runs, RBIs on his own pretty much unless he hits a home run. So which covers your total bases bet. So you would just need 1 double. I like that. That's easy. He can clip that. He can roll over a ball over third base and still get your hits, runs, RBIs. So I like that move a lot. And he's hitting well. If you look at his last 10 days, right? We talked about that. That's one of the metrics I look for when I look at home runs is how somebody's done in their last 7 games. And so in his last 22 at-bats, he has 3 homers. So that's pretty strong. He's doing well. I like that a lot. I also liked Kyle Tucker going into the game against Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray's pitching well, but Kyle Tucker didn't get that, so that game's over. I liked Freddie Freeman going into the game today. Dude is hot as anything right now. He has 4 homers in his last 25 at-bats. He's already got hits, runs, RBIs. He's done well. Shohei's also hitting well. So I liked him for a home run. He hasn't hit a home run today either. But for the games that are about to start, I like Jonah Heim as a wild card for a home run. Yeah, he's the catcher for the Rangers, and he's batting .571 with 3 homers and a double for his 4 hits off of the starter tonight for the Red Sox, who is, I'm blanking, Tanner Houck. Yeah, so limited sample size, but in that limited sample size, he is crushing the baseball in his 4 hits. So I like that a lot. He's 4 for 8 against him. Adolis Garcia, not hitting well this year. He's batting 6th in the lineup, so I don't love this, but if you want a total bases option, I like this one. He's got 2 homers and a double in a limited sample size, also against Houck. Castellanos, he hit a home run last night. He has cooled off lately, but he is 1 for 2 with a home run in his 2 at-bats against his starter tonight. Schwarber also has 4 home runs in his last 21 at-bats, hit a home run yesterday. I think today would be his 3rd home run.
If you look at the books, they're saying he's going to hit a home run.
He should, yeah. Freddie Freeman, Shohei, and then another wild card, Yohan Moncada, definitely coming back from injury this year. Yep. He missed a lot of last year. He started this year, then he's been out for the last 3 weeks. He made a comeback last night and hit a 3-run homer. He has good numbers against the starter, who he is facing tonight. So why not? Those are the options that I like tonight for the rest of the games. If you want to parlay 3 of those, you'll probably get some pretty goofy odds. So that's probably, if you want some calculated chaos, mix in some of those names together. If you would like to throw a $5 to win on, $200 or something like that. But if not, hits, runs, RBIs, or total bases for those names: Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, or Yohan Moncada, or Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is a good one too. So
maybe throw in Bryce Harper.
Ooh, Bryce Harper. What's the reason?
Bryce Harper.
Okay, nice.
This is actually, it's the opposite. He has not had so many, he's hit the under recently.
Oh, so you want to go under?
But no. Okay, so listen. I was we talk about law of averages and stuff. So the hits, runs, RBIs, he has not hit consistently. I think he does do that tonight against the Rays.
Okay, so it's a bounce back.
Yeah, it's over 1.5 at -125.
Okay, I like that.
Also,
they're in Tampa
Max
as well,
Fried,
where they're.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, they are in Tampa. Max Fried. I actually wanted to ask you. I haven't made my mind up about this.
Is he
I think his
pitching
over
tonight?
under was 5.
I don't think he's pitching.
He's not.
Okay.
No, is he?
I don't think so. I think he just pitched a couple nights ago. I don't think he should be.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I think he just pitched a couple days ago because I watched him. Let's see.
Oh, I'm going to be really bummed.
Oh, you're right.
He is throwing, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's definitely throwing. Wow.
All right, so his over-under for strikeouts was 5.
Yep.
He is 3-0
Yep.
against the Padres.
Okay, in his career. Yep.
Yeah. He's got an ERA of 2 with 11 strikeouts in 3 appearances. His over-under is 5 for strikeouts.
How many
I don't
innings
like to
pitched
take
in
Dang,
those 3 outings?
Dude, I didn't even look.
That's important.
Okay, that's a no-no. Everyone take note.
I would
did not
imagine
look.
3 starts. He probably has 3 starts, a minimum of 5, I would imagine, per start. So that's 15 innings, and 11 strikeouts in 15 innings is not great.
No, I know. That's why I was saying I don't normally take unders because I think it's bad juju. But if you're looking for one, I would take the under on strikeouts.
San Diego does not strike out a lot usually. They are traditionally not a big strikeout team as well. They're hitting the ball pretty well. So I don't mind that. But Max Fried is having a great year. He's having a Cy Young candidate year. He's won all 6 of his starts this year, or the team has won. Right? Is he 5-0 or 6-0? But yeah, he's doing really well. He's 6-0 with a 1 ERA. So yeah, over. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't like taking unders. That's just my personal. But your logic is very sound. You want to know a little hedge that you might be able to play here? Dylan Cease usually gets a lot of strikeouts. Not starting off the year great. But him and Max Fried, you might
combine.
Be able to go find where maybe Max Fried gets his 5, which is right on the cusp of the over/under. But maybe Dylan Cease has a big game and he gets 8 or 9, and you hit that bet, and you don't have to worry about necessarily what Max Fried does.
I would like to look at the odds for that.
There you go. Just some options for you guys.
Okay.
That was a good little segment like that, little calculated chaos. But make sure you guys stay tuned. We have one more segment. We're going to talk a little bit about collectibles, some headlines of our LSU baseball players and what they're doing in the MLB. And then we'll get you guys out of here for the rest of the day. Thank you guys for being here. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right. Welcome back. We're wrapping up here. We got about 30 minutes with you guys, maybe a little less, maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. But if you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys for being here. I'm Anthony Ranaudo with Abby Alonzo, filling in for Matt Moscona. It's been a nice day, nice little Wednesday, hump day to get you guys through.
Yeah.
We put in some sports picks. We talked sports. We talked LSU, talked softball, done it all, really.
Yeah. I think throughout the 2.5 hours, we've kind of teased a little bit of the things that we're doing, and we were talking about collecting and athletes, and I think you should shed light a little bit more on what we're actually doing and what you've been building recently.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I have the collectibles shop in Perkins Row, and it's been a really fun venture for me. And this year I'm looking to maybe step out of that space and work more with athletes that are into collecting themselves, right? Not just themselves, but if that is an avenue, right, that's something that I'm passionate about. So taking what I've learned in the industry the last 4 or 5 years and then working with athletes who do enjoy the collecting experience and almost providing a service for them to educate them, make sure they don't spend too much money, the wrong money, right? buying just a bunch of junk, because that happens in our industry, right? So that's been really fun, and it's been organic for me because I get to work with some really great people that, you know, started here in Baton Rouge, and they're doing some big things on the big stage in the MLB. And it's cool because what we're doing is preserving their legacy. We're helping them tell their story. Obviously, you're a part of that, right, on the media and the storytelling side of it. But individuals like Dylan Cruz who like to collect and are just starting their major league career and hopefully have a very, very successful major league career, right? We're starting them at the bottom level, getting their own cards, but then their own game-used memorabilia and the things that they probably consider junk, but people consider as, you know, collectibles or things that tie memories to things. And and then for them and their family, maybe their family members would appreciate those things, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing, and it's been really fun. I get to meet and work with a lot of great people. Like, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk's been a big mentor of mine, somebody who I've watched from afar, and then as of the last year, I've gotten a lot closer to him. And he's in the collectible space, he's in the sports space, pop culture, everything. So if you guys haven't, I know he's a friend of the show and he's been on Matt's show here before, but he does great things. And one of the things, today is a release day for a product called Topps Chrome, which is, you know, in the collectibles world is a big card product. And if you're a sports fan, you've probably got some Topps Chrome baseball or basketball or football cards laying around somewhere. But he collaborated with Topps and produced something today in Topps Chrome world for his intellectual property project called V-Friends, which is all around positivity and optimism, right? And teaching emotional intelligence from the ground level up. And it's a 70, 80-year project is what he calls it. And so today, sports cards allowed him to kind of tell that story and connect with sports fans and people, right? And people like Dylan Cruz, who understand the value of collecting, are interested in these types of intellectual property products, right? And then the ability to connect him with Gary and add to Dylan's network and then help Gary market his product, right, for sports cards that Dylan enjoys. And then Dylan gets a piece of collection, you know, to his collection that he can vault and then hold for long-term value. And as Gary's career ascends, right, if this V-Friend things takes off, now Dylan has a valuable asset that he vaulted for the last 10 years as Gary goes and creates value for the V-Friend. So I did bring one that we can rip in here to show people to have some fun. But if not, just go check out what Gary Vaynerchuk's doing, what Topps Chrome is doing in that product, and then go look at some of these athletes that played ball here at LSU that are collecting and doing this stuff, because it's creating a better fan experience too, right? And that's really what everybody here is that's listening is interested in sports. They're interested in the connection point that we all love, that is sports, right? So collectibles are just another way that I get to engage in it, and then I get to work with the athletes and the collectibles as well. So it hits a little bit of the business nerdy side for me, but then it keeps me in sports and working with some of the best athletes in the world. So very lucky.
If you're listening and you're not really into sports cards, I encourage you to have an open mind, because when I moved back to Baton Rouge and got told, or not told, but asked to work in a card shop, you can imagine that I was like, this is not my strong suit. I know nothing. This is not my cup of tea. However, the more I learn about it and really get to dive into the storytelling side of things, like, yeah, why don't you rip it open?
I'll rip it open.
But like you said, we're working with Dylan and guys like Josh Young and Dylan Cease and all kinds of guys in pro ball that see the value, and it's
and there's different levels of collecting.
Yeah, and the reason that I like it might be a different reason than you. Like, you see it as a cool way to invest, right? It's more fun than stocks, and you also appreciate like the memories that come with it, obviously because of your story. I enjoy it because of the storytelling aspect of a card's meaning,
right?
And memorabilia and all the connection point, right? So if it's not your thing, that's okay. I just encourage you to have an open mind about it, because it really does, the hobby does.
Well, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're doing with Josh Young, because that is the fan experience, right? The whole point that we said that we were going to do the stuff with Josh Young was because of what we knew it was going to do for fans.
So if you're not big into baseball, Josh is the third baseman for the Texas Rangers. He won the World Series with them
in 23.
In 2023, great kid. He is a huge card collector, also huge Captain America fan. But he essentially loves opening sports cards and collecting cards of himself, and he had this idea that we teamed up with him on of he wanted to rip cards with other guys in the hobby. In the league. So the first episode, and we run his media, so his YouTube channel and all, it's called Clubhouse Breaks. Josh and Anthony sat down with Mike Trout, and pulled out Mike Trout's briefcase of cards worth God knows how
Probably
much.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. That he literally just pulled out of it. He's like, he asked the clubhouse manager, he's like, can you go grab those in my
out of his
locker?
locker.
And he comes and brings them, and I'm like, bro, you just keep these in your locker? And he was like, yeah.
Crazy. But
I was like, I guess the clubhouse is probably a pretty safe space.
But Josh's whole point was to sit down with other guys who get the value behind the cards and want to connect. And Trout is a role model for Josh. Josh has looked up to him, so getting to sit there and tell stories about the guys on the cards and why you collect, and Trout's talking about his kids, and it's really a connection point. And Josh has then done that with Evan Carter and Corbin Carroll and MJ Melendez, and he's really created a platform to allow these guys to tell their stories and almost like connect with quote unquote normal people who watch the content and collect cards of like, hey, we're at the highest level and we do it too. And you get the backstories of the guys on the cards, and it's been really cool to literally be behind the scenes for those and to help Josh put out that content.
And that to me is what these cards, like they're cards, right? But they signal like a connection point that is just different. And to me, for the storytelling aspect, like Josh Young doesn't realize how powerful it is to sit next to Mike Trout. And in 10 or 15 years, he may not have that opportunity because he's not a baseball player anymore, right? He might think he can get in touch with them, but like you never know how life goes, right? So to be in the same place at the same time and create that content and pick Mike's brain while they're peers and while they're playing on the same level, right, is the really cool part. And it creates new access to these players that they've never had before. So that to me, hey, that's what character is that?
Heart Trooper.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
That's
it's not
cool.
numbered.
So if you guys didn't know too, these cards are really cool. So VFriends is an intellectual property project that's centered all around positivity and optimism, and it has 200 something characters similar to Pokemon, and they all have individual names, and they're all centered around emotional intelligence and different attributes that center positivity and optimism. So Alpha Alligator, Gracious Grizzly Bear, Peaceful Pelican, Considerate Cowboy, OG Ox, Sophisticated Stingray, Humble Hedgehog, right? So they're all like little alliterations, and all the different characters teach you different things, right? So for kids, this is a really cool starting point. And if you guys are parents out there, if you guys are looking for ways to connect with your kids, guys or girls, doesn't matter. Like this is a really cool way to start teaching your kids about these words and what they mean and how they show up as individuals. And so for me, the way I look at this stuff is, I spent $120 on these cards today, but I supported Gary Vaynerchuk and his mission and what he wants to do for collectibles and the connection point that spreads the message of positivity and optimism and leaves a lasting legacy, right? And at best, I can get some cool cards, maybe sell them on the internet. I can go connect with a cool community, and maybe they appreciate over time and I make a little bit of money, right? So to me, this is just another cool example of some of the things we're doing. And it's really more about the people and the meaning behind the cards. And that's what I think is, to your point, what I'm doing more now. And what I'm more passionate about is helping these athletes grow their brands, grow their what they care about and what they work so hard for, right? Building their legacy and keeping it lasting. So I'm fortunate. I get to do some really cool stuff, and you can see that I'm basically just being a big kid every single day, working with other big kids that are just really good at baseball and other sports. So it's a lot of fun, and again, very lucky and blessed. So yeah.
It's been a fun journey figuring out. Speaking of some of the guys we're working with, let's give some updates on where some of our LSU boys are at.
Yeah. We're probably going to cut out of here in a minute or two before our last segment, but one of the biggest ones that I've noticed this year is Alex Bregman, right? So he kind of had a little bit.
You called this. You said.
I called it.
You said he was going to end up in Boston and that he was going to do phenomenally.
Yep. If you know the reason that he did so well with Houston and why they signed him to such an early contract, or one of the reasons, I shouldn't say the reason, right? But if you look at his launch angle and if you look at the way that he hits the baseball and his fly balls to left field, that he had a short porch in left with a high fence, and that's exactly what Boston is, right? So he hits fly balls and learns how to hit doubles and singles and utilize that wall to his advantage. And so I knew he would be a great fit for Boston. They needed a third baseman. Devers is getting older and bigger, so I knew at some point he was going to move and be a DH or a first baseman, right? And Story's playing second. So anyway, I thought they had the right pieces to add him. And I felt like if they did, they could compete for a championship. And that's what I told you. My prediction was Red Sox, Yankees in the ALCS. And right now in the AL East, it's Yankees, Red Sox. And I said Baltimore was not going to have a good year. I think the Rays are actually going to be the third place team. And I think that the AL East is just going to be a powerhouse. It's going to be a great division. And that's what it's been so far. Bregman's having a great start, batting like .330, and he's doing well. So it's been great. Gausman's doing his thing. Nola's bouncing back. Had a little rough start. Skeens and Cruz, Skeens is doing his thing, Cy Young candidate. Cruz had a little rough start, but I think he's going to have a great year this year. Fraley's doing his thing. We got guys all over the league really just representing LSU baseball well, and it's been fun. So continuing to watch them and watch their season unfold, and hopefully it does well.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to break right here, and we'll come back for one more segment before we say peace to everybody for the day.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Remember, you can always download the Rouse's app. I encourage you to do that. If you're shopping, download the Rouse's app. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick them out for you. You pull up in one of the designated spaces, and they'll bring it out to your vehicle. It's at Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com. You can find the location nearest you at Rouse's.com or in the Rouse's app. And as always, boy, no matter what you're looking for, they got you covered. May is Pet Month. You may not know that. So they've got tons of great items on sale all month long for your pet, from treats and dog and cat food and all different types of things, supplements. You can check it all out at Rouse's all this month at May, with it being Pet Month. So treat your best friend, courtesy of our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Find the location nearest you with 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, everybody. This is it. Welcome back to After Further Review. I'm Anthony Ranaudo and Abby Alonzo filling in for Matt Moscona. It's been a great day.
It has.
It really has. Thank you guys for letting us be here. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we connected a little bit. Hopefully you guys got some joy, some happiness, some information, whatever it was. We were happy that you guys were here with us.
Yeah.
What'd you think? This is your first time
I know.
on AFR.
I won't lie. I was a little nervous coming in.
You did good, though.
Thank you.
You did good.
I think you led the way. You kind of helped me knock the nerves out. I'm just fired up.
I was the vet. Fun. Yeah, now I have all your endorphins and the adrenaline that I'm about to be in the car with. Yeah, on the way home. She's going to be blasting the music and everything. So.
Sorry about it.
No,
I'm
that's
not,
all right.
though. All right, let's give everybody a little bit of games coming up, because we got to roll here soon. So if you're looking for LSU softball, they got a 10 o'clock game tomorrow morning against Oklahoma.
Ooh, starting early.
Who is ranked second. So SEC tournament play tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. The girls are hot. Hopefully they can keep it going. And then baseball.
Baseball is at the box this weekend. We got Arkansas coming in. Let's go. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Little Easter action. Make sure you guys get out there. Go get some baseball at the box. Go cheer on your Tigers. They're going to need it. It's a big, big series. There's 2 more series left, I think. 2? Yeah, 2 more series. These are big.
That flew.
This is big, guys. This is very, very big. But, yeah, guys, thank you guys for being here. This is Anthony Ranaudo, Abby Alonzo. Hopefully we will be back soon. But if not, keep living. Have a great night. Thank you, guys. This is After Further Review.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana, because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help, because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast